robotic delivery on her, gets away with a disperse.
Some damage on the best. Stone Shield prevents almost all of the Fearless. Right.
Shadow keeps juking Reels. The Reels can't find the head. Shadow is still alive.
He's fighting for his life. He's fighting for the championship. He's fighting for everything he stands. Go for Shadow. The There's a It's just their game to lose.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 69 of the Smite Update. My name is OctanePro, and joining me, as always, we do have Smitten and special guest here, Demon Machine. How's it going, folks?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Long day, to say the least. Lots of stuff to talk about tonight on the show. But yeah, F. is not here, as you can tell. He's actually on a flight right now. But we do have Demon Machine going ahead and stepping in for him. So thanks for joining us, man.
No problem.
All
Hey,
right.
Demon's here.
I haven't actually been here this whole time.
That's right.
I'm a ghost.
So, before we go ahead and jump into things or what we're going to cover, stuff like that, we'll kind of go around the table here, just kind of see what people have been up to this week in Smite. So, Smitten, what do you got going on this week?
Played the PTS yesterday. I'm a little traumatized.
Uh-oh.
But, other than
Uh-oh.
that, watching the SPL in school and, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, videos. I've been doing videos again this week.
I have seen that, too. You've been blowing up Twitter a pretty good amount with those and kind of getting back into that.
I know. My bad.
You've been on quite a hiatus. How long has it been since you've been putting those out?
It's been a couple months for sure. It's been probably at least since, like, May.
Okay, awesome.
Making a comeback, baby.
Yeah,
She's
might
back.
as well. DM Machine, what about you? What are you going up to this week with Smite?
PTS, streaming, SPL, those kind of things. Other than that, normal like family duties of children to the park, stuff like that.
Sure. Well, awesome. Awesome. Sounds good. I think for myself, I played a little bit while watching SPL. I was away this weekend with family. Just got back a few hours ago. And outside of that, a lot of streaming this week, a lot of Smite, a lot of Conquest. So having a lot of fun. Haven't touched the PTS. I like to leave that to Smitten. She always fills our content with that very much so. But
I have so much to tell you.
I can't wait. So those of you guys not familiar with what the Smite Update is, Smite Update is a weekly show that airs every Sunday right here on Smite Game, usually about 5 o'clock. This week bumped out about an hour and a half due to the SPL tiebreaker matches, and we'll talk all about those. But it's a show that goes over community content and news along with esports and then also the patch notes. So we kind of hit on as much as we can that's been going on in the scene in the past week. So if you hadn't had a chance to keep up with everything, this is exactly where you want to be at for the next about 2 hours or so. So let's go ahead and kind of lead into it here. The Smite Pro League Top Contest is running right now. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, I will put it in chat. And this is something that Hi-Rez Studios is running, and I thought I would share it with you guys in chat. As you can see, have a chance to win
5,000 gems!
Yeah, 5,000 gems there for first, which is quite a bit. And pretty much now's your chance to pretty much find your favorite plays throughout the SPL. And if you guys are looking for, hey, where do I find these this video from the SPL or the Challengers Cup? This is kind of from both. And you don't have to be a video editor or anything, actually. You just have to be able to submit your favorite plays. All of the videos are available on youtube.com/SmitePro. And if you go over there, you can see all weeks that have been going on and all of the games available broken into the individual games. So go check that out. And all the details will be available in the link that I put in chat, along with, if you guys are interested, they will be in the comments of the YouTube video moving forward here. Outside of that, we also have the free treasure chest roll. And have any of you guys checked this out quite yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That was the first time I'm hearing about it.
Sure. Well, this actually comes with the new item. And Temple of Confucius. Does that sound correct with the pronunciation there?
Yes.
And pretty much, as you guys can see up on stream there, this is the 8th Odyssey item that is out, and there will be a free treasure chest roll that will accompany this as well. So make sure you guys go in-game to the upper left-hand corner, select the little yellow and blue icon. It kind of has the ship there. It's kind of the logo for the Odyssey. And you'll be able to view all of the Odyssey items along with picking up this latest Odyssey item as well. Finally, another item to talk about here. We do have the lovely panel, the kind of Odyssey exclusive panel. I know I have this. I assume both of you guys have this already. Am I correct?
Oh, the load card?
Yes.
We're working on it.
Yep. Yeah, I assume you have the load card.
We're
Yeah.
working on it.
You're
I mean,
working on it.
with the treasure chest roll, you get treasure chest roll every time you get an Odyssey item.
Yeah, and then you also have
Like,
the.
I forgot about that and went to my treasure chest. I was like, I have 4 treasure chests. Why do I have 4 treasure chests? Oh, I know.
It's okay. I went into my. You have like the booster pack, and you can check it out. I think mine has like 100 and some days of booster pack availability right now, and I'm like, that's amazing. I mean, granted, unless we increase like the level cap from 30, it's not really helping me out at this point, but pretty cool feature.
Some worshippers.
Yeah, I mean, it helps out with the worshippers though, is where it's a big one.
I have a gambling addiction to the treasure chests, and so like all my chips went to treasure chests.
I feel like I need to play that like 1-800-GAMBLER type of like audio right now. Be like, do you have a gambling problem? Do you know someone who does?
Maybe me for this treasure chest. Oh my god, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm so addicted to them, but we need to start a support group.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure I can't be the only one.
Oh, I can
Or
imagine.
Smite, or Reddit Smite chest addicts.
Yeah, right.
Anonymous.
Right. They're
Hi,
all.
my name is Smitten.
Yeah, I have a problem. So the frame panel that I'm talking about is the one that has like the gold frame, has the 2015 at the top, along with the Smite World Championship logo at the bottom. Most people are starting to see this more and more as people are starting to pick up these. You just have to have 6 or more items throughout the Odyssey, and then you do have the option to set this frame. The frame doesn't automatically apply. You have to go in and set this within your settings. But it's pretty cool because this opens the door for a lot of additional frames and themes and stuff like that in the future. So if you guys haven't yet, you've picked up all 6 items, go into your settings and you can go ahead and change this. Moving on with a few other items here, pretty much our next biggest one, and this will be a lot to talk about here. So Smite has gone ahead and hit the $1 million crowd-funded prize pool for the Smite World Championship.
Woo!
And we all knew this was going to happen. Like, as soon as we started seeing the Odyssey items coming out, we knew it was there. So a pretty big deal, to say the least here. What are your expectations moving forward within the next few weeks? I mean, realistically, what do you guys think that we could get to?
1.5.
Well, I mean, we've had how many Odyssey items out of
8?
how many total and how many are out?
We have 8. Well, there's 21 total, and the 8th one was that temple that was just kind of released. That'll be coming out here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're a third of the way there, roughly.
Yep.
So we've gone 400,000. Yeah, 400,000 in a quarter of the way, or a third of the way. So I think at least 1.7, maybe 1.8, and depending on what other things come out, of course they're going to be as awesome as they've currently been. It's just going to keep making up. Maybe we could reach 2.
Yeah, I mean,
2. Oh my god, how amazing would 2 be?
I mean, you got to think of it though from like from a community perspective, this is pretty big. And with what Hi-Rez is giving us, this is awesome. A lot of the content we're getting, it's helping as well to kind of breach the esports and the in-game content, balance. Because, like a lot of people are like, I don't watch esports. I only like I'm only into the game and I only like the game stuff. Well, this is great for them because they're just getting a ton of new content here over the 21-week period. But on top of that, you got to think of it like, $1 million, just sitting at $1 million is a huge deal for these professional players. Like the guys that have been day to day, they stream to make their income. They play in the weekly tournaments. The SPL has added additional, income here and there along with the Challengers Cup and stuff like that. So there's been little tidbits of like income for these guys. But now we're talking big money. We're talking like
That's
full year
huge.
plus salaries for like the first place winners. And then let's consider where we're at when we hit week 21, the potential of being 2 million. It's making this event will skyrocket the Smite eSports option to be viable if it's not already for some of these guys. Like to the point where we most likely after this start to see team houses pop up. We start to see major sponsors starting to come into play. Bigger organizations than what we already have starting to join that have kind of been hesitant. So
yeah, this is like a really big mile marker for Smite. Like it's saying like, hey, we're actually legitimate. We've got like a we've got a 1 million prize pool right now for our Smite World Championship that's coming up. So it's like a mile marker that every kind of competitive game that has a footing in esports has to go through.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, with that, it could also skyrocket into Hi-Rez and enticing people to move to a certain location for the pro league that's all played on a LAN environment too. Imagine having the guys, Dig, Cog, all those guys going to a local version of the Cog Center too.
Okay.
Play every week or every day.
Yeah.
Here's your games of the day. We have the casters are at their casting desk that's got the background of the crowd and all that junk, and people buying tickets for the season pass of Smite like they do in League and all these other games.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that, as you said, makes it more viable. It's interesting because, we start to look at if not already, right now, there is, we don't know a ton about contracts that are going on. We know they exist with the teams in order to protect the teams and the players and, salaries that are paid. We don't know those numbers and we don't need to know those numbers. But when we're starting to talk about serious salaries, and do we start to drift in the direction of where, is some other games, MOBAs out there where Hi-Rez Studios is paying salaries type of, what I mean? Not alongside with some of these organizations. So it opens up a lot of potential moving forward. And so it's making this, quite exciting to say the least. If this is where we're at on our we had our first major crowdfunded event with the launch event. And we did good. I mean, we did awesome, especially for the way that launched. But this is huge. I can only imagine where we're at next year, to be honest. It's going to be a big deal. Let's go ahead and talk about the venue, which has been released for quite some time. Nothing new hearing about the venue, but now we're starting to get some major stuff going on regarding ticket sales. We're starting to see, what we're getting. So I'll kind of throw it to you guys around the table. What are your thoughts on what Hi-Rez is releasing with ticket prices, what you get for the tickets, everything like that?
I'm just not looking at this link.
Really?
Okay.
Word.
There's 3 different types of passes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a standard pass, a golden pass, and a legendary. Legendary includes a VIP party ticket, preferred seating, which allows you first choice in any seat in the theater, along with exclusive seating right in front of the stage, an invite to the pro player meetup to shake the hand of your favorite player, and a hoodie. What?
What?
I would get that just for the hoodie.
It's all worth the hoodie, right?
Yeah. Holy.
So in the past we've seen, this kind of there hasn't really been as much of options available for you when you're going ahead and picking up the ticket, the way that we have it now. Which is pretty exciting to say the least for everyone. What do we did you guys kind of get a chance to see where you get to sit, depending on what ticket you purchase determines actually where you get to sit for the event, which is pretty exciting to say the least. For the people that are paying more, they get to sit closer up. They have more options available to them. And then, at the pricing, the seating changes depending on your pricing structure moving out. And I'll admit, the legendary ones, they went mad fast, to say the least. And then we saw Hi-Rez actually come out and release 150 more of these legendary tickets, which is crazy. If you guys are, not really up to date with everything going on with the Smite World Championship, I put a link in chat. It has everything you want to know. The prize pool's in there, the event. The only thing we don't see quite yet is the exact schedule, which will be released a little bit closer. But, as we said, we have the legendary, standard, and golden pass. Do you guys remember what the cost was for the launch tournament? Was that like $25 or something like that?
It was like 30.
30?
I think it was 30.
Okay. We're making some huge leaps from 30 to 200.
Right? But it's a much bigger, it's a beautiful venue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at the Cobb Energy Center.
Yeah, it's the CDC. I mean,
That's right.
What else? You just pay money to sit down in a piece of history.
That's right. That's right. Those of you guys not familiar, Walking Dead, end of the season, CDC. Yeah, this is where that's at. This is where that's at.
Season 1. If you haven't seen season 1,
I know. Come on now.
4 years later, come on.
It's not like we're talking about the latest episode that just aired or whatever. But so one of the things I want to look at, which 2 things I want to kind of touch on here about, the ticketing and the pricing. The pricing I'm okay with. I think we're at a point now where Hi-Rez can be competitive with their prices. But outside of that, includes a VIP party ticket for the $200 legendary pass. And I saw that. And, I know at the launch tournament, everybody was invited to the after the party that they had the second night, which was on Saturday. And then you did have VIP passes available. I'm noticing that it doesn't even say anything actually about the party for the other individuals, like gold and standard. It doesn't say invite to World Championship party or anything like that. I'd like to assume that's still the case, or we're seeing something different here where it's more of just a VIP party, and unless you're a VIP, you can't get in.
Well, with the Legendary Pass, you get the VIP party ticket, and you get to the an invite to the pro player meetup, and a hoodie. Like, you get a bunch of...
Yeah.
I feel like you get so much more out of the Legendary Pass if you do the gold.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's what I'm interested to find out. Like, is it just going to be a smaller exclusive party invite? And if so, get your Legendary Passes now. If not, will the golden and the standard passes still get the invite to at least the party? Maybe not the VIP party, but the VIP portion of that party. So we'll have to see kind of where that goes from here moving forward. Any other thoughts?
I'm looking forward to the party.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys need to spend the money just for the party, do it, because the party was off the hook.
It was fun.
Off the hook last
fun.
year. Look at you with just a smile on your face, Demon. Like, look at you. You're like grinning.
It was fun. I mean,
He's like, man.
okay, there's the thing that I do with parties. A lot of the people that I ever went to parties with, they were always the heavy people who drank a lot and did all this other stuff. I was always the person that I just had a little bit, and just enough to be, nice and happy. And I just watched everybody else, and it's hilarious. It's awesome. People do the most amazingly dumb things during these kind of events, and it's just awesome to sit back and watch them all.
Yeah, it's I mean, I had a blast. To give you guys an update, as the last party that they had almost 2 areas that you could be. They had like the main venue area where they had music playing. They had some of the cosplayers like dancing, stuff like that, along with dance floor area. And then upstairs at the venue, this was the launch tournament. They had I don't know the size of that digital screen, whatever that was. That was huge though.
It was massive.
It was like floor to ceiling screen. And they had that going, and they had the music pumped upstairs as well because they had like a DJ available, and they had a huge dance floor there, bar available as long as you were of age, and then they had the VIP lounge where they had a whole separate bar and more of a lounge setup as well. So it was a blast, and if you guys are considering the legendary ticket, like get it now compared to a month from now, because I don't see these lasting more than like 2 weeks. The legendary passes.
Did you see what Don said to you in the chat?
What'd he say? That
He
troll.
said calling shenanigans, Octane doesn't get invited to parties.
Nanton, you need an ass whooping, boy. Yes.
Shots fired.
I will be there. I will be there without a doubt, sir. Outside of that, we can go ahead here and kind of move on. And our next section, do you guys have anything else to talk about with SWC, the venue, ticketing, everything like that?
No, I'm just excited to be there when it happens.
Yeah, it should be a ton of fun. I think there's a variety of things that'll be going on there. I'm trying to think. DM Machine most likely admitting possibility. Is what it sounds like. Yep. And
I'll probably be standing on stage like during the Worlds. My feet were killing me by the end of the time. So the party, I wanted to try and sit down as much as I could. Yeah. Because being as an admin there, your job is to stand behind the players if they need help. If you watch for any rule breaking, if anybody's turning around to look at the screen because there's like a 10-second delay between the players and the screen.
Yeah.
And so you're doing that, and you just got to stand there the whole time. And just stare.
Sounds like you need like one of those like rubber mats for people that stand all day in their job, and you got the sneakers on with extra padding.
Dr. Scholl's.
Yeah, those soles that you see,
Scholl's.
those soles that you see in like CVS with the like stands. Oh my word!
I wanted a stool. It's like, why can't we get like a chair, a small chair, anything?
Well, I think that's a big one because like people have questioned the use of soundproof booths for the longest time in Smite, and the value is there, but people also have to keep in mind like those booths to get custom built are like 10 grand, so it's not cheap.
Talking with the guys while we were there about what it's like, because these guys were at the launch time, they're playing with the speakers literally in their ear because they're like we had to, as the admin, I had to duck around the speaker and like lean on the back of whoever was in that chair so I could get around them and get to the other side of the computers. And so, I mean, these guys had speakers blasting in their ears, and they had the soundproof headsets and the little earbuds under them and stuff. And they were like, so do you hear the cast or anything? I'm like, yeah, we kind of hear it, but you can't pay attention to it, because if you pay attention to it, you're going to get screwed hard, because you're listening to something that's not really relevant this second, and my guys are fighting right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was, the launch tournament was their first like major large event like that. Due to, it seemed like due to limitations of space, that's kind of where they ended up, sitting with the speaker directly behind them. So we'll have to see what is done about that at the World Championship. I know there's a big factor. I'm not expecting the boosts. The boosts do kind of take away the intimacy between the players and the crowd a little bit, to say the least. But they also do add for a different environment for the players, which is kind of
it makes it more serious almost. You know what I mean? Like I watched a league tournament where they had those boxes, and I was like, how weird. But I was like, well, that kind of like, it really does. It adds to an ambiance there.
Well,
it's also with the soundproof headsets. It's really not. It's not like you can hear them clear as day. You'd have to like kind of stop and pay attention to hear what they're possibly saying to like make it out, and you'd have to turn down your own in-game sound to do that. Most of the guys, they just jacked up their in-game sound and their voice comms all the way, and you didn't hear anything.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's not like they're Walmart brand soundproof headsets either.
Yeah, they're really nice headsets. So.
They're definitely the real deal. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or you want to go ahead and get your tickets, go over to smitegame.com and you can go ahead and check it out. It is available right there within the news feed. You can get all the information on the tickets, the pricing. I think if we go over there now, let me take a look here. I was interested to see where we're at with what's left. As of today, 10/12, you got, let's see, 761 standard passes left. Golden passes 292, and then finally, after they just threw the 150 additional legendary passes, we're now at 131. Sale ends for, it's interesting, the sale ends for the legendary and golden passes on January 9th. But then on the standard passes, it ends on January 15th, which is quite interesting there. So, make sure you guys get your tickets today. We'll be pushing these tickets for purchase over the next several weeks here leading up to the event, and should be a ton of fun. So let's go ahead and jump on to our next section here, which is Streamer of the Week. And I'm going to throw it over to Smitten on this one.
All right, so today, for your Streamer of the Week, I picked out DaGarz from Cognitive Red. Mainly, there's like a billion different reasons that I picked him, but let's just narrow it down to two. First of all, he's kind of amazing at everything he does, and he's super chill, and like if you're just looking, he like explains the things that he's doing in the games really, really well. And so that's the first reason. Second reason is he's from Oklahoma, so gotta give shout outs to the only other Oklahoman that plays Smite. So he's fun. Go check him out. It's twitch.tv/DaGarz. And yeah, go follow his channel, hang out.
Yeah, I mean, DaGarz, I think everyone looks to him as being one of the best Thor players out there, to be honest with you, to say the least. So
there he is
pretty.
in chat.
Oh, is he hanging out in chat? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, who else out there comes close to him with Thor? Any thoughts?
Nope. Nobody.
The only other person that I know is almost banned out because of that sometimes is just with my interaction with Mortality is iRaffer. Like, he does very, very well with Thor, but is banned out constantly because of that. Like today, you saw Thor banned out first, just to go ahead and counter that. Trying to think who else. I don't know that there's anyone else that even touches DaGarz right now, to be honest with you.
No, there's a reason why people, every time Garz gets Thor, people are saying ThorGarz. Like, they should just change the name of Thor in the game to just ThorGarz. Like, that's how good it is. You're
doing something right when there is a god associated with you. Like,
right?
In the scene, it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. So, yeah, congratulations to DaGarz. Make sure you guys go check him out and follow him as well. Definitely someone to check out, especially for your Thor play, as Smitten had talked about. Being one of pretty much the best Thor player out there in the scene right now, if not within North America, but in the world as well. So let's jump over to community emails. If you guys are interested in emailing the show, feel free to email us at smitegame@gmail.com. Once again, smitegame@gmail.com. Oh, I'm sorry, SmiteUpdate. Thank you. SmiteUpdate. I'm like, that's right, Smite Game. SmiteUpdate@gmail.com. I apologize, guys. And feel free to email us. And we take questions every week. We go through and take a few. So I'll take the first one here. This email comes to us from Josh. He says, we are looking forward to a really hype event. If you had to had an analyst desk, who would it be and why? What do you expect from them and from the event in general? And I assume he's talking about here regarding the World Championship. So, I guess we'll kind of go through a little bit here. Analyst desk is definitely a big deal. We had the opportunity to see that at the launch tournament. We had multiple people rotating in and out the analyst desk, and the analyst desk is becoming more and more common across the board within the esports scene. Kind of go around. Who would you guys expect to see at the analyst desk? We'll start at you, D Machine.
Pon. I presume Pon will probably be on there because he's Hi-Rez Pon now. You won't see Adam or Dan because they're admins. Who else? Probably Adonis, as well as Kelly, and I don't know if she'll be on the analyst desk. She might be like a like that lead up, lead out kind of person onto the desk, kind of like what Trendkill did last year.
Yeah.
And
I'm thinking Kret's gonna be there. I really like DJ Pernicus on it. I liked his commentary.
Yeah, I guess it depends to see. If Kret is not one of the casters, I can see him without a doubt an analyst. Like, I put him side by side with someone like Pon. Like, these are the guys that very common in the scene are doing the numbers, the math, the whole analytical side of gameplay, fight breakdown, stuff like that. So I have to agree with you there. Kret, Pon. We could see Adonis as well, but we might see, Adonis and Kelly have very much filled that role of like a pre-show. And we might actually see that at the World Championship leading into each game, possibly, if not the day at least, something going on there. So, last year we saw... Go ahead.
They'll probably go for much like a NFL style where they'll have the pre-game talking, where they'll have all like the casters and the crew kind of there discussing things, then they'll break up and go to different areas. Also, I think that they'll probably take the casters that aren't actively casting now will probably be on the analyst desk. So if you have like Bart and Drybear, then DM and Gandhi will be on the desk kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll be pretty good.
Maybe even F.
Correct. Yep, like where his place now. We also have Hindu Man in there as well. We have an abundance of casters right now. If you look at it, that are doing NA, EU, across SPL and Challengers Cup. We have quite a number that we actually have at this point, which is pretty exciting. So I think there's a lot of opportunity they can do at the World Championships with different positions. I'd be interested to see where, like, we saw Bart doing more of like working with almost like floor host style. Like, that'd be cool to see with like we had like ESL Red Eye kind of did the floor host. It'd be really cool to see something like that at the launch event as well. I know we had Clutch was doing a lot of that at the launch event, but it'd be cool to see some of these other people doing that as well.
Fats is in chat saying he wants to be up there as a caster. Let's do it.
Best of luck to you, Fats. You got quite the competition.
Yo, Fats, I got your back.
Yeah, right.
That's all that matters.
Okay. I guess we'll throw over to the next email. D Machine, you want to take that one?
Sure. It's from Caden. He says, "Hey guys, big fan of the show. My question is, what do you think about a new active being added to the game? I talked with F. He suggested an active that doesn't involve combat, such as an Eye of Providence. What are your opinions?" Thank you, Caden. Well, they've actually cycled in and out a lot of actives, aka Motivate, which was probably one of the most horrible actives in the entire game.
It was like the best week of Smite ever.
It was. Motivate was very much like the Thebes meta. You survived that week or that day or however long it was out. Yep. And then you need a t-shirt that says it. I survived a Motivate meta. So I think it's in a very good spot right now. I can't think of anything else that would be super useful. The only possible active would be maybe something like what Nuwa has in her ult, except in an active form that's maybe on like a 2-minute cooldown timer where it's just a map reveal real fast. You get like 2 seconds or 3 seconds to see everything on the map, all the wards, all the players' positions and stuff like that, and then it's on cooldown. Might be useful. I don't know. Probably never see it picked up, but you'd have to see it. For anybody that's asking about Motivate, was basically it turned all of your minions into fire minions. All that wave.
And you could have it really early, like
Yeah.
prior to level 5. And
you would buy
like,
a first item. And
Yeah, and
you would just go in the lane and then just pop Motivate with your wave and say, good luck!
not just that, you can motivate your Bakasura minions, because back at the time, Bakasura, whenever he did his ultimate, like the minions that he actually ate, like archers and like the big guys in the front, like they came out as minions, and you could motivate them, and just it was the best week of Smite.
It was really like the ultimate.
I really enjoyed the...
Go ahead. What do you got?
Go ahead.
I was
going
gonna
to say the one thing I liked about Bakasura that they kind of took away with was the fact that when he ate minions, you had to strategically eat certain minions. Do you want a lot of archers in your regurgitate, or do you want a lot of melee? It was the thing. It was the thing.
Yeah, it definitely was like that. Early game, you clear the lane and your first push onto tower, and then you pop it then, and it's like insane to have, as you said, fire minions at that time. Was definitely a really good item. I'm trying to think. I like the idea of putting in more and more of these non-combat type of actives. I think it'd be a really good idea to be able to have them available to you. I'm not sure which direction to go with that, but I like the idea of having them. I think Hi-Rez has the opportunity to dive into that quite a bit as we move forward. So
What if there's like a tower heal active? Like you could heal like a percentage of your tower or something.
Almost like a tower shield, I mean, like when they had that.
Didn't we have a tower shield for a while?
Have it do more damage.
Like we had the tower shield for a while that you could pop, which would, kind of protect your tower. It's kind of like the bubble on your tower per se for a certain amount of time. But the heal idea, I don't know how well that would do. I feel like that would prolong the games longer. Maybe something like a Geb shield style onto a certain tower where it would just mitigate some of that damage, give it additional health for a certain amount of time. So you know what I mean? Maybe you have to see the tower. And I can see that working where like, you know how it is where you see two on one at your tower. You're trying to, they're trying to focus down your tower. You're trying to protect the tower to stop them from doing it. They're within tower range. You need something to help that tower stay alive for a few extra seconds, something like that. So there could be some cool ideas. If you guys have any,
or we could just have an item or an active that gives you an item instantly. What do you? Deathbringer every game.
Free item.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Calm down.
Free item? What?
Yeah.
Free item? Yeah, I mean, if you guys
well,
have
it would be fun if it randomly rolled you an item, and then congratulations, you have a Ratatouille in your physical. Oh boy!
Right? I loved your guys' faces there for a second. You're both like,
no,
that'll never happen. Never let it happen.
Quiet, Smitten. That's enough out of you.
Okay, fine.
No, if you guys have ideas though regarding some of these passive items that you'd like to see, non-combat ones, feel free to email us SmiteUpdate@gmail.com. We'll kind of talk about some of them next week. Let's go ahead and dive into our last question. You want to take this one, Smitten?
Sure, it's from Jonathan. Jonathan says, I love the show. Thank you for being such a huge asset to the Smite community while still staying true to independent content creation. It's always nice to see a show not created and hosted by Hi-Rez Studios employees on Smite game. My question is, what are your plans for the Smite World Championship? How are you getting there? When? What will you be doing at the event? Jonathan.
Smitten, take it first.
I don't have an official, role at the launch tournament. Not saying that I'm not open to having a role, but I'm just gonna be there to hang out and make sure everybody parties pretty hard after all the games and stuff. I know, right? Right?
Your role is Hi-Rez partier, by the way. Your official
Hi-Rez
role.
partier.
Hype up the party. I like it.
Yeah, make sure everybody.
So, are you flying down?
Brings the party with her.
Yeah. Right. So, you flying, driving? What are your thoughts at this point?
I may drive. I got a convertible this year, so.
Oh, how far is the drive for you?
I'm in Oklahoma, so.
Probably a good 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a full day.
All right.
It's a good drive.
Yeah.
It's only 3.5 hours for me, so.
Oh, that's nice. So what about you? What are your thoughts? What do you think? What are you hoping or thinking that you'll be up to at SWC?
I'll probably be doing the administration side of things. One of the admins on stage, helping out with that, etc. That's pretty much what I do, so I don't see it changing. And then I'll just drive down there and hope I have somewhere to park my car and leave it for a week or however long we're down there.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. The launch event, I was there quite early. You know, doing a little odd and ends here and there with setup and stuff like that. At the World Championship, I'm not sure what I'll be doing there. If Mortality makes it to the World Championship, I will be there as their team manager. When it comes down, so that's that route. I might be involved in some other things. Can't quite announced quite yet, but might be involved in some other things going on there as well. But I will be driving down on Thursday, if I'm not going sooner. Driving down on Thursday. It's about 10 hours for me coming from Pennsylvania. 10 hours from Pennsylvania to Atlanta. So myself and two other guys that are big Smite fans, been playing since Alpha, will make the drive down on Thursday. It's a few hours per guy. Not a huge deal, you know, nothing too crazy. And get down there Thursday and then be staying Friday to Monday. Definitely have to stay, you know, a little bit later there. It's always nice to do that. Stay Sunday till the very end, and then probably come back on Monday. So it should be pretty cool. But cool question.
Are you guys coming through Columbia?
Yeah, maybe.
Are you taking 20 down to Atlanta?
Probably, yes. Yeah. So if you're not going early, we can always make a pit stop. I see you thinking. I see you thinking over there.
I'm about 1 to 2 stone throws away from 20. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know we'll take 95 down. I don't know how close that is for you.
Yeah, I don't know if it runs through 20 or if it's better to take 20 and then go down, etc.
Sure. I know we'll take 95 down quite a ways until you need to kind of make that split off to head more west towards Atlanta. But that'll definitely be the route that we'll be taking. But yeah, maybe we'll have to talk more as we get closer, depending on when you go down. So we'll have to definitely see. All right, well, good question. Appreciate you guys submitting your questions. If you guys have additional questions for us next week, email us now or later in the, if you're checking out the VOD, SmiteUpdate@gmail.com, and we'll get to your question next week. Also, if you guys are interested in leaving streamer feedback on the show, you want to let Hi-Rez know you like the show, you dislike the show, hopefully not, or you have comments or recommendations, go directly below this video stream down to the streamer feedback button, click there, and then go ahead, select OctanePro, and leave us some feedback on the show. It goes directly to Hi-Rez Studios and helps to keep the show on Smite Game each week. So, moving on to kind of our esports section here, before we jump in, I want to let you guys know if you guys are looking for weekly tournaments, you're a player that wants to get more and more involved, not really sure where to go, the Challengers Cup has come to an end here, SPL as well, where can I play, each night on the competitive side. Make sure that you guys do check out Smite Central and also Tier Monster. But between the two of those websites, they host enough tournaments to cover every night of the week almost for competitive content for all levels of players. So SmiteCentral.com and TierMonster.com as well. So let's kind of jump into the esports section here. There's a lot to talk about, and then we'll take a brief break after esports here before we talk about the upcoming patch, as there's a ton to talk about there as well. So jumping into esports here, have a lot going on, and I'll kind of throw it over to Demon Machine, kind of let you take it from here. So what do we got going on here?
All right, so if you guys watched the games today, they were quite exciting. We ended up having 2 tiebreakers, which was one of the reasons why a Smite update is so late and why I didn't stream before it. But we had Cloud9 had to face off against SK. Wait, right? No. Crap, I forgot.
TSM.
I forgot the
TSM, right?
TSM.
Yeah.
And SK. Oh my god, I'm going to blow my mind.
So you ready? I think if you go to, and this is going to help everybody out.
No, it was TSM Immortality, I thought.
If you go, well, yeah.
They're fighting for first and second and third seed.
So to make this easier for everyone, including us, if you go over to SmiteCentral.com and you click matches in the top right corner. So SmiteCentral.com, click matches. It has a rundown of all the games and the results and stuff like that. So makes life a little bit easier when trying to remember who played who and what the results were.
Yeah. But anyway, Europe had a tiebreaker. It was fun. And then over in the North American side, it was still the other random side of tie-breaking where Cog Prime beat out Dignitas, so Dignitas had to fight Snipe for the 4th seed slot, and then Dignitas fell to Snipe again. So Dignitas is now the 4th seed over there in North America. It happened. But, so, here's how it's going to all play out. I was getting all sidetracked with exactly who played who today, because I watched it all and now I confused myself. So, the Pro League's done. So now we're going to be going to the wild cards, which is coming up in the next 2 weeks. That's going to be the top 2 teams from the Challengers Cup, which is going to be... Let me pull that up real quick so I know for sure. There we are. You got the Rambozos and 5 Angry Men from North America, and Agilitas and also the Potato Boys from Europe. So they're going to be facing off against, back over the other side, Fat Chunks Assemble and Thirst over on North America, and then SK and Coast.
So we have 2 weeks between today and whenever the wild card starts.
No, they start next weekend.
Next weekend.
Wild cards will be next weekend and the following weekend after that.
It's like
So
non-stop.
2 weeks of wild
2 weeks
card.
of that, yes. So we got a weekend next week. It's going to be a round robin where basically all 4 teams are going to play each other, and then they're going to play each other again, and then they play each other, etc. So, and then whoever's got the top records out of that will proceed. If there's ties, they'll do tiebreakers, etc. And then after that, we go into the regionals. So the regional championships will have the top 6 teams from each region. That'll be happening in November, where they will go fight it out in another round-robin style.
Yeah.
And then the top 2 teams from that will be going on to the Worlds. Whew, isn't that confusing?
There's
so pretty much I
arrows
think we'll have
upon
mostly
arrows.
December off.
Yeah.
So it's mostly North America, or it's mostly October and November is going to kind of wrap it all up, and just after Thanksgiving there should be pretty much a giant break for a while. Let everybody kind of
I love
catch
the
their breath
flow
with all the
chart.
tournament action. Yes, the flow chart.
The
On that one.
the
If you
flow
want to check it
chart
out for
is
yourself,
incredible.
it's very flowy. I like all the arrows. It really helps keep things clean. Oh, see, Octane already posted it.
Yeah, I think that you know, this is probably the best flowchart we've seen yet, especially compared to the first one that came out, which was like crazy confusing. Like this goes to here and this goes to here. So this is probably the best way to look at it. It can be confusing, but it's pretty easy to follow through. Hi-Rez has done a really good job. You know, they heard the outcries from the community that were like, "Oh my word! Like, how are we supposed to follow this?" You know, it's been a long, I guess we can call it season. It's been like a very long season leading up to where we're at now, and pretty exciting to say the least. You know, where we've come to. You know, wild card. I mean, there's no break. Like wild cards kick in here coming up, and you know, our understanding from last week was that it'll be a round robin style, which will be pretty exciting with the teams. Are any of you guys surprised about the teams that we see going into the wild cards?
In the wild cards, I'm not really. They're pretty much the teams that just didn't make it into the SPL over there, at least in Europe. On the North American side, the Rambozos is. I'm pretty happy to see that because in North America it was pretty much the top 6 here, and then you know a couple others that they consistently did pretty well, but then you know they would always might have the unfortunate luck of getting matched up against Dignitas or Snipe or something like that early, and so they get knocked out fast. Which that is like one huge thing that you noticed with the fact of the SPL starting. The participation rate in the Challengers Cups just went through the roof, and so that was awesome.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of like the numbers and the amount of teams that they had like signing up early on was like absurd. So that'll be, you know, it's just cool because for the longest time there was this big disconnect between pro play, like the pro scene with like the weekly tournaments that were going on from Hi-Rez and then like all the other tournaments. So there's this huge disconnect, and you know, Hi-Rez definitely wants the intimacy between, you know, from top level down to your new players. So you know, the Challengers Cup has been a big deal. Any expectations here you guys can think about for the wild card? Like okay, we'll go NA and EU. Who you guys are predicting will be top within the 2? What do you got?
I guess I'll run it. I'm actually thinking the Rambozos are probably going to take out Fat Chunks and Snipe. So, or not Snipe,
Thirst.
but Thirst. Yeah. I keep thinking Wolfie and Snipe. It's just it's ingrained. But I don't know if 5 Angry Men will be able to really pull it off since Rambozos do so well against them every week.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be close for the next 3. I think Rambozos is going to clutch it though for the North American thing, and then it's just going to be kind of a battle for second. It's a lot to go back into that.
My guess, I have to agree with you there, Rambozos, without a doubt, which will be awesome to see. Kind of like the lower men on the totem pole coming from Challengers Cup, then fighting the SPL, getting through the SPL, and then moving on to the regionals. Like I think that's awesome. That opportunity is there for these teams. It definitely helps with like that storyline. So I think Rambozos and then probably Fat Chunks Assemble is I'm going to take a guess for second. But it is a big toss-up, as you said. You know who you might see fighting for that second place there. What do you think?
What about Agilitas?
It's over in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, oh, you're just talking
we're
about
doing
for the...
NA right now?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well, that's fine.
I'm already thinking EU.
Well, that's okay. That's fine. We can jump to EU. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about EU. You know, we have Team Coast, and then we have SK Gaming, which will be going from the SPL, and then from your Challengers Cup, you have Agilitas and Potato Boys, and I feel like this is where we're going to see a lot closer of a wildcard tournament. Having these teams, I feel like EU. Sorry, NA, but I feel like EU is going to be a lot more exciting to watch because I feel like the skill level is very much matched within EU. What do you guys think?
I absolutely agree. I mean, if just looking at the raw numbers from the standings, like Cloud9, SK are both tied at 9 and 11. Mortality, Team Limit both tied at 12 and 8. And then you've got Exposed Secrets, who's 14 and 6. That's just 2 wins more than Mortality and TSM. So. It's gonna be way closer. I mean, like in the Challenger Cup though, like the EU scene, Agilitas has just been like extremely dominant since like the beginning. So it's gonna be really, really interesting to see how Agilitas comes up into the mix between Team Coast and SK.
Yeah, and for anybody that wants to know why C9 took it over SK, where it comes to why C9 got into the top 4 and SK didn't, even with the same record, is that Cloud9 and SK's head-to-head record, Cloud9 has the better end of that. So the head-to-head record is what determined the winner, the tiebreaker winner of that, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it'll be. I love like F-Dot always goes crazy over this type of situation where the potential for someone to rise through the ranks of the Challengers Cup to then move to, you know, the same level as these SPL teams that have pre-qualified and then move into like regionals is huge. And the fact that like there is a chance for a Challengers Cup team to go to Worlds, I think is amazing. Like it's huge, and I like this, and I hope as we move into, I'm calling it seasons, but season 2 next year, I'm hoping to see more of this. I'm hoping to see like the Challengers Cup aspect, if we still call it that or whatever. I'm hoping to see it blow up and be even larger, you know, because people see the opportunity that like, hey, me and my team have the chance to go to Smite World Championship if we go through these certain routes. So I think it'll be pretty exciting to say the least. So why don't we talk a little bit about today? What games you guys get to watch, and I mean today was a huge deal. Well, pretty much we had tiebreakers, we had a ton of hype around the games, standings were determined today. So what did you guys get to see? What was kind of unexpected for you? Surprises, upsets, stuff like that.
I was actually quite disappointed that Dignitas lost to Snipe.
Yeah.
Snipe's been on fire this week though.
When did Jerby start hitting his ultimates? I mean, seriously.
Right? Today I saw that snipe and I was like, what? I was like, that's not Jerby. That's not Jerby. There's something.
Obviously
funky.
a Smurf.
That's right.
Obviously.
That's Smurfing on Jerby's account. That's the only thing we can assume.
What?
But yeah, I was really, like, Snipe's been on fire. I don't know what bug bit them in the ass, but it did, and now they're third. So GG. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
I'm not too surprised that Cog Red and Prime are the top 2. That's not really a whole big shocker. Europe kind of actually very much surprised me with Exposed Secrets. I mean, they had such a rough start, but then they really brought it back, and they've been on a roll, and it showed. Everybody would have picked it up right out the gate. They would have said Mortality is going to take this, 19-0. But Exposed, they're doing it.
Well, it's interesting with Exposed Secrets because if you look at their history through the SPL, they started out okay, and then they were like disgusting. No one could take them, type of deal. And they did amazing. And they kind of had a week where they kind of fell a little bit. That was like the game like you're talking about where Mortality did like super well against them. And looking to like the previous game, like Mortality did very well against them. But then as we started to get into week 7 here, it's the Exposed Secrets we know. And like today they did phenomenal and that's huge though, because now going into this, I don't want to say time off because the teams aren't going to treat it like that. But Exposed Secrets now has this gap of time between now and November to go ahead, practice, analyze, break down bans and picks, strategize. They must be feeling pretty good. Their morale is there, so I think Exposed Secrets was a big surprise today. What other surprises did you guys find?
What was it? I just had one. Mm.
That's pretty impressive with SK all around. I wouldn't be surprised if they take it all the way through the wild cards and come back in with a vengeance.
Yeah, they
Maybe come in, might probably even go to Worlds, in my opinion, because they seem to get this trend where they'll do all right, then they'll do kind of, and then they'll just whoa, we're back.
SK Gaming is
one TSM tournament.
They're one of those
Okay.
teams where when they're like they're on fire. Like it's ridiculous. So I can agree with that.
Okay, so it had nothing to do with like individual games.
Sure.
Something
Go for
that chat was talking about, and something that I've been noticing at least today, especially Thanatos. Like all of these Thanatos picks, it's like I think Hinduman gave like some stats in at the very end of that last game with Dig and Snipe, like about how there's like a 0% like win rate in NA or something like that,
Yeah.
or something like why would they keep picking Thanatos if he's been performing so poorly? Is that
Yeah,
kind of like that brick wall
Stats
that
don't
people
say
hit?
everything, but
Yeah. I mean,
you gotta
go ahead. What you got?
try and get what you can. He seems like a good pick at the time. You have this plan that you're going into the game with that you want Thanatos to come in there, be either a CC bot or he's going to be the kill bot, where he's just coming down on top of all these low people. But it just didn't quite work out, and now he's dead. So that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean,
I kept seeing that today, and I was like, oh goodness.
if Thanatos
Yeah.
can snowball early on, like, which is typical for most junglers, he's amazing, But a lot of people find, it difficult when you're looking at some of the other junglers that are available. I mean, Thor, Nemesis, one of the top, the top junglers that are picked time and time again. And granted, that's due to being banned out. Your Mercury, most of the time, is banned out a majority of the time there. And so, when you fall back, when you look at it, let's say you have your Mercury banned, you have your Thor banned, when you're starting to look, and even Nemesis banned, you're starting to look at some of the games today where we saw like Cirquet then getting picked up, Thanatos getting picked up there. So I wouldn't find Thanatos as one of like your top picks that you're going to go ahead and, this is who I want to get going into the game. But he's definitely like your second level jungler that you want to use when the top guys are not available. And he seems to be doing okay, but I don't know. I'm always weary when I see Thanatos picked up in jungle.
Yeah. It's okay if, like, I mean, Thanatos performs moderately well, especially within just, like, casual games, right? That's my domain. So I see Thanatos either do, like you said, he's, like, either super, super strong or he's just irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one there.
I mean, when they fixed the bug on Cirquet's #1, that, like, brought her from being nobody picking her because she was bugged to she's absolutely disgusting. So she got priority picks and bans, and so now everybody's trying to look at something else that maybe they could find that's, I think I can take this god, I can make this god absolutely disgusting, and it's just, they keep trying and it keeps not working, unfortunately.
Oh. Yeah, somebody in chat just brought up a very important, like a really good point that, like, Thanatos has a really, really hard time in late game. And all of these matches that we've been seeing in the SPL, they've been going late game. And so
yeah.
I thought that was a really, really good point.
Yeah, no, to say the least, without a doubt. Some of the bigger games today, as you talked about, a lot of these teams were predetermined. We're going, to the regionals, but the big thing was today, a lot of that hype, guys, was around the seeding. The seeding was the big deal, outside of that, where, if you look at teams like Cloud9 and TSM, their seeding was huge here. I mean, when you looked at, they played Team Solo Mid and Cloud9 played, that was a big deal. And then that determined, it was funny because that game determined then like TSM and Mortality, where it came down to seeding between second and third. And not realizing like that's huge. I know, just for at least for Mortality and even some of the other teams here, you're put right into the semifinals because of your seeding. So in reality, think of it this way: you win some of these teams, all they have to do is win a best of 3, and they're automatically going to the finals of their regional event, which means they're automatically going to Worlds. So like, the seeding was huge and such a big deal for a lot of these teams. I mean, Kong Prime being in here as well, like them being second, a lot of that stuff, like that's determining a lot. I mean, Cog Red, we don't even have to talk about. Like, they're just like an automatic. If we don't see them at World, something's wrong.
Yep.
think we might see an upset just because you said that.
You know what? And I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that because they're scary, to say the least, for sure. So, you know, what can we? Okay, I'll throw it over here. So, what can we expect now? You know, everything's over. SPL's over. Challengers Cup is over. We talked a little bit about this. The next 2 weeks we have wild card, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess it's kind of up in the air then at that point. Like it's kind of open-ended.
After that, I don't know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I know there's.
I don't know if there's going to be a break until the regionals or what, but that's all I know of at the moment is that the wild cards will be the next couple of weeks, and then I think we'll figure out what's going on after that. Afterwards, they'll make a big post coming up here soon about the upcoming schedule, so to speak, and so it's going to be interesting. But continue what you were saying.
I was going to say, we have the wild cards. We then have our regionals coming up directly after that. And then, there is a little bit of time period there, December, as DM Machine had talked about originally, where it's kind of, okay, what now? Granted, you have the holiday in there, so that will, that'll occur. But, most likely my guess is they'll probably have some of like the community tournaments that we know about. I know Divine Intervention was talking about the dates of theirs is somewhere in the next few weeks as well that they have going on. But then like December, most likely we'll see like, in the past they've had like Alienware tournament and then like a Smite Central tournament, Tier Monster tournament, Team Dignitas, they had a tournament in there. So like I think they'll kind of have that to fill the time is my guess, for kind of the tournament scene. But who knows? Who knows?
Wow.
There'll probably be a lot of like, the Alienware Arena tournament again, maybe.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, something like that where just, community tournaments, things that are fun, things that are, we'll throw some money at the community. Here, you guys, have fun, we'll cast it, we'll put on a show, and everybody be happy.
Yeah, I'd be eager to see some stuff that a little like non-traditional, like what you talked about, arena tournament. Maybe we see a siege tournament again. We've been seeing, I have nothing wrong with Conquest and the competitive level. I love it. But at the same time, this is a key opportunity to kind of change things up. Maybe a 3-versus-3 tournament or a 1-versus, something non-traditional to kind of fill that December gap would be fun. Would be fun to say the least.
I think the Divine Intervention is Saturday, November 1st.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm getting from, or it's the message I got from Cooper.
Okay. So we'll have the wild cards going on. Divine Intervention is in there. Then I think that kind of leads into your wild card or your regional events, and then we kind of have some gap in that time there. So that's pretty good to know, to say the least. I'm trying to see here. So anything else about esports right now? I mean, there's a lot going on at this point. With leading up to where we're at, and now we're kind of I don't want to say the hype is over because now we have some of the probably more exciting tournaments to watch in the next 2 weeks on the weekends.
I think people are just kind of like, I think everybody's finally taking a breath after 9 weeks. I feel like that's what today is about. It's just everybody going, okay, that's over. Like phase 1 completed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just that we're like, okay, this is great. We got all this done. It's set. Now we're going to get ready for all the really big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the calm before the storm, to use a overused cliche.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see here. With the regional events, we got to see. This one for the EU will be over the 22nd, 23rd, and that'll be at the ESL studios again. And I think we can all say the production value is amazing, at ESL. So that'll be great to see. And then on top of that, NA, we're then going to go ahead and have, kind of the Hi-Rez guys managing that with the NA at the Cobb Energy Center, with that going on as well. So that'll be, pretty exciting to say the least, with that going on. But I think that'll kind of round out our esports section, guys. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we will be back here to talk about what I know Smitten's excited about: the patch, guide remodels, guide changes, kind of a big deal. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll be back here in about 5 minutes. So stay tuned.
And I'm shooting signals for
Oh my god.
We are the ghosts amongst the sound within the darkness. You are the treasure that I found beneath the ruins. Beneath the ruins. 'Cause we lost all sight of the troubles. They won't weigh us down to the rubble.
Alrighty, folks, we are back, jumping in right after the break here. I'm going to go ahead and jump into an exciting patch that we have to share with you guys today. So pretty big deal there going on, so definitely take a look. Smitten, go in and unmute yourself. Looks like you're still muted through the control panel there. There we
Hi.
go. There we go. So,
Good.
you like muted. I'm like, usually I mute and unmute you guys on my own, but then I saw today like you were doing it, and I was like, oh, I can't do anything. Like, so anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this patch here. Some pretty exciting stuff to do, so I'll hand it over to you, Smitten.
Yeah, so patch notes this is always my favorite part of the Smite update show. Mainly because I love testing out the PTS. I love getting my hands on content before it's supposed to happen. So for this patch, our major, I guess, deal is the god remodel of Bakasura. Bakasura being one of our older gods, and he definitely. Him and Amir definitely needed the update, so I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed that Amir gets one next. But Bakasura definitely has changed a lot. He's gone from this little like hobbled, like shriveled up mask.
Reminds me of like a gremlin, to say the least.
Yeah, and he just kind of like hopped along, had a big head, and all of a sudden to like this like guy who's just like, rawr, I have things. I eat things with my chest now. Like, whenever he goes to eat his minion... Okay, we'll talk about that here in just a minute.
Let's talk about it first. Anyone surprised that Bakasura got a remodel? Like, when they were hyping up, and then they kind of said a remodel was coming, my first thought was not Bakasura. I don't know about you guys.
No, it wasn't. Who was it? Who did you think it was?
I was kind of hoping Ymir, to be honest with you. You know, Ymir is starting to look a little subpar, I guess you could say. Yeah, I mean, compared... I mean... He looks like the Marshmallow Doughboy, just a little more aggressive, you know? So, sorry to the designer that made him, but I'm looking forward to a change up there. I mean, he's the Frost Giant. Part of me feels like he should be bigger. But, to say the least, you
like
know...
Titan big.
Yes. I think yeah, now that would be crazy. Now, I'm not pushing it that far. That'd be awesome. That's like Big Baby style. But yeah, I mean, I was not expecting Bakasura. What about you, D Machine? Were you expecting him as a remodel?
I was kind of expecting maybe like On Her or somebody like that.
Ooh, that's another one that's kind of...
I like my On Her.
I
He
understand.
definitely he needs a little bit of an update.
He needs more of a main. No, he's...
Yeah, something more flowy would be nice, but I was very disappointed when the diamond skin came out and he didn't have a diamond pillar.
Oh, that would have been
My pillar is
awesome.
so brown and
I was
drab.
really disappointed
What is that about?
Hades' ult.
Yeah.
Like, Hades' ult. I was really sad that wasn't diamond. Like, that would have been
That would be
so
kind of
hype.
cool to see the diamond like beneath him, like slowly getting sucked in. That would have been kind of a cool effect. Same thing with like the pillar as well for On Her. Like, I think you could take those diamond skins to the next level. Hi-Rez at the back of their minds, like, don't say these things. Don't say these things. Yeah, right. On Her would be definitely a good one as well as a remodel. He's definitely been around, you know, the early 20 to say the least. So,
Yes.
Yeah. So, Baka remodel. The only thing that's changed about him is just the visual part about him. His kit's still the same, at least from what I noticed. His ultimate does feel a little awkward now. I don't know what it is. Okay, anyways, let's start. Step one. Let's talk about the visual changes.
Okay.
Before he had these little like tentacle things coming out of his face hole. To eat minions, right? His face hole, like that, like whatever the thing. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And now he's got like a mouth chest, and he just opens up his mouth and is like, and eats it that way. And I don't know why, but it's so much more satisfying. Eating
It's not even
minions
so
that
much
way.
it's that like vortex sucking that's awesome. It's like
Yeah, it's not
I did it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
cool.
necessarily like tentacles that shoot out like you talked about. That's a good explanation. Like kind of like the mouth opens, it's this vortex effect that sucks people in. It was interesting. I don't recall the designer's name that they had on this past week to talk about the remodel. But I think this was one of the more interesting remodels that I listened through and really enjoyed. You know, just kind of the explanation of the entire process of like a remodel from start to finish, what is all entailed during that. You know, where the creative edge comes from, and so I really like where Bakasura went. You know, he very much like when he's upright, which isn't a lot of the time. It almost reminds me of that like Assassin's Creed kind of look, like kind of assassin type of style look. You know,
crouched and.
Even just his outfit.
His outfit?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the hood with the little point to it.
Yep, the hood with the point kind of gives off like that Assassin's Creed type of look to it.
And then the like.
And the arm blades.
Yep.
Yeah. Whatever those are called. Maybe that was some
Baka blades. There you go.
Baka blades. All right, so like nothing really changed about his kit other than the way that it looks. Like his ultimate feels weird now. Like I'm used to hitting like butcher's blades and hit 4, and then just like click and hold your left mouse button. And normally, like it just like you start blendering people, you start shredding. But like I don't know what it was, and I don't know if it was just because it looked different, but it just felt like I had to actually like spam click in order to get the same effect. I'm not sure if that is the actual change, though.
I wonder if some of the changes that were made are kind of affect the same thing with where we saw like Kukulkan, where like it wasn't a direct port from like Ao Kuang to Kukulkan, like it felt different. Especially you were one that said on the one show as well that you could tell that it felt very different, like when you cast the different abilities and stuff like that. So my guess is it wasn't a like direct perfect port from one to the other, that there were a little bit to change up here and there. So I'm eager to see what the community says after playing him, like, oh, this is not the same and here's why type of deal.
Right. Yeah, so if you guys haven't already done so, go download the PTS. I believe it's still up and running right now, and you can try out new Bakasura. It's quite fun. I don't really do melee gods, but playing Bakasura was fun.
Do you think that the Death Machine and Feaster Bunny will get remodels eventually?
I hope not.
Or do you think they'll kind of stick with them?
I hope they keep a semblance of like what Bakasura was. Old Baka.
Because I know people are talking about it in chat a little bit, and they will be unaffected, so they'll still have the same look.
They'll be unaffected this patch.
Correct. Thank you. Yeah, we could see like a month from now, hey, their remodels have been updated, and here's what you get now. So
it's one of those things that I will wait with bated breath. As in, I like the models like Feaster Bunny and the Death Machine. I love the Death Machine because Demon Machine. It's a demon that does death and is the machine. I mean, what isn't there to like? But if they come up with these new models, it might just be like, oh, these are so much better. Oh my God, these things could be amazing, or it could be like, oh man, damn it. But I'm pretty sure it'll be what they've done from old Baka to new Baka. If they do that for the other skins, I'm sure it'll be just as amazing. Although I'm not quite sure how they're going to change up Feaster Bunny. What can you do with that? He's so adorably cute with his basket.
Ears.
In his ears.
Okay. But yeah. I wish there was an option to where like the gods that they remodel, like you can maybe have it like a match of the day where you can play like the old models.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Play the old one.
Like a blast from the past match of the day.
I know that Hi-Rez Chris had said that like the option is there, just not the kits that those gods had. So like we couldn't go back and play Guan, I guess because of the way like the back end architecture works and stuff like that. Not just release
Guan, but just drumroll Guan with
That is such
such
a classic. Oh man.
Oh, I love the helicopter Guan.
Oh my word! Yes. So the one thing I want to comment on, like these remodels, the really cool thing I like about these as well is the fact that they almost give these gods hype, and we start to see like an insurgence of that god played for a while, which is great because it takes a god where like kind of is on the back burner right now, not your first pick, and then makes them oh wow, like new model. No changes, but let's go ahead and play that god more. So I think I like these remodels. They're not only adding to the art and advancing the art in the game in the updated direction, but it also adds a little excitement around some of these gods that are kind of stale, to say the least.
Yeah.
Stale. A bucket can never be stale.
So it's not just we're getting some speaking of artwork, we're getting some really awesome skins this next patch. My favorite is Demon Catcher Zhang because Zhang so good. So he's like what? Oh my god, Ghostbusters. That's what I was like, I forgot that.
I was gonna say. So we need to discuss how these look like perfect. Like these hit the heartstrings from as a kid because like Ghostbusters was a thing when I was my age. Like everybody watched Ghostbusters. I had the toys. I had the Ghostbuster pack. Like
Backpack.
yeah.
Yep.
The traps that
All my friends had the pack. I always wanted a pack, but I never got one.
Yeah, so like this is a big, and then like from the cartoons as we got a little bit older, then they came out with the movies, and like we all love the movies to say the least. They're all classics, so this is pretty exciting. I guess I have to put it out there. The elephant in the room. Do we think that we're going to see this out and then taken away like we did with Bakasur? And like I love you, Hi-Rez, but I'm also concerned for you. Looking out for you, buddy.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? What do you think, Smitten?
It's still it's different enough to be considered like an actual thing. It only hints at themes from Ghostbusters. It's not like a direct, like copy of like the uniform and the equipment and things like that. So they look distinctly different. So I don't think that there's gonna be a problem, but let's just
as long as he doesn't all of a sudden go ahead and like throw out a trap and like he throws out the trap and like that's like his ultimate. Oh my word, like. Yeah. Instead
of that little piece of paper thing that you've got flying around you as Jean all the time, you have a little ghost. It's like a little jelly. It looks like a little jelly monster, and he just sits there and he like makes faces and like does things. Yeah, it was adorable.
I think they. Yeah, go ahead.
It kind of looks like a Pac-Man dude.
Yeah. The little ghost. Yeah.
The thing. Yeah, he does. The other skins, we've got two skins for Osiris. Frankenmotep. Yeah, nailed it. That's got it. I'm gonna tell you right now, that is the most annoying voice pack I've ever heard in the face of this planet. I was playing, it was like an arena or something on the PTS, and this guy just kept like using the VGS like you normally would in a match. Like sometimes you gotta, say the VGS command twice. I muted every, like, the second I saw that you had the Frankenstein Osiris, I was like, okay, muting you as soon as we get in the match, because that voice pack is just, there's something about it. There's something about it.
The Frankenstein one almost reminds me of Chalk a little bit, too. Like, the way that he's set up, you see there. Like, and in the picture, it only shows, like, one weapon, but, I assume he's walking around with two. From what I can see there, but yeah, I mean the Frankenstein one is another one where the timing is cool. Like I'm so happy that Hi-Rez is coming out with like these themed releases at the appropriate time of the holidays. I like more and more of these. This is another one that they must have gotten rights to of some kind because like there still has to be some type of copyrights going on with Frankenstein. You know what I mean?
So Frankenstein?
You'd have to be. I mean, that's I don't know. I don't know all that. I don't know copyright law or anything like that. But I assume
hundreds of years ago.
I assume somebody has rights to it, but I don't know. I thought somewhere in copyright law, like you can only hold it for so long. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Why don't we have Brian on the show, Lionheart, and be like, hey, tell us the copyright law.
I think that would be lovely to have Lionheart on to explain, make sure the Ghostbusters not going to go anywhere, right? Yeah.
you're not going to have like your white like station wagon roll out, across the map.
We should add that
would be awesome.
I mean, obviously the next one is going to be what could Guan catch? But Guan could catch something, and he could drive a white, hearse when he gets into his ultimate instead of riding a horse. I still pushing forth for the midlife crisis Guan, where he rides a motorcycle and he gets tattoos and he talks about like his 401k and how he's going to retire soon, or something like that. You could just have like a biker Guan then, where it's a motorcycle. You could go that direction, and a biker one would actually be kind of cool. I'm gonna say at least like. We haven't hit that mark yet, but I can see it. What else we got? What other skins we got here?
We've got Sydney Shredder Hebo. I didn't even see that.
Because it's in Australia.
It's
Australian. Because it's in their oceanic servers.
We talked last week about how like PAX is going on in Sydney, and then we also have on top of that there's been some Oceanic server testing in the PTS, so I think it's just becoming more and more evident that we're going to have those Oceanic servers sooner or later. And I like the skin; it's pretty cool. But Hobwat's buff in this skin, to say.
Is he? I didn't see. Like I didn't see it. I don't know. I didn't. I guess I just didn't pay attention more.
It'll be up on your screen in like 2 or 3 seconds once you see the live stream. It's up on there. He's like riding a crocodile.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's ripped. Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay. So not only we got new voice packs this patch. We were just talking about the Frankenstein reanimated Osiris voice packs. We also, which I had a strange experience with. Sorry, my grandma's yelling in the background.
It sounds. I don't know what.
Right.
Is she watching some Smite in the background?
She talks. No, she talks to her cats. It's okay. She's
Talks to her
stereotypical.
cats.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Anyway, so these voice packs, it's the Ultra Kill announcer packs. You get Drybear's voice, Hi-Rez Bart, and DM's voice in the game. It's actually really, really cool. Except when you die and DM goes, "You have been slain." I'm like, you know what, DM? I don't want to talk to you about this.
You know what
about
it
this
should say,
again
though?
at all.
You know what it should say?
What?
You suck. That's what it should say.
No, I should say hold that.
Hold
Yeah,
that.
hold that. Oh my god, that would have been so good. That would have been perfect. But yeah, so those voice packs were actually amazing. They were really, really cool.
Something I was wondering about when I saw that come out was I actually posted it at Hi-Rez, and I don't know if they'll release it or not, but I wonder if moving forward, I assume moving forward, we'll see more and more of those come out with different individuals in the community, which would be great. I wonder if they will also have something along the lines of like commission based for those individuals doing them. In order to add a little bit of a revenue stream for those types of people, like the TSM skin. A portion of that, went towards the invitational, the players, whatever. But this would be kind of cool. Like it's adding another revenue source for these people that are so heavily involved in the scene. Like I know voice actors are kind of most of the time paid like a one-time deal. There isn't really commission in base, but either way, I think that'd be kind of cool. What do you guys think about that?
I'd love that. I think it'd be really cool to have more community people do voice packs, but maybe pros too.
Yeah, I mean, you just let them record it and release it as like a mod type thing, where they get the commissions based off sales. So the more they promote it, the better they do. The more high quality theirs is, maybe they sell more and they can make more. Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's almost like
It'd be a lot of big revenue things where Hi-Rez could take just we take 10% because it's our game, or 20% or 50% because it's our game, and you get the rest of it, and there could be tons of content built that way.
They could open up.
They don't even have to touch.
They could open up kind of like a community store aspect, kind of like what you're talking about there. It's almost like an iTunes store per se, where you have things that I think in this case, if a voice pack or a skin was developed or a ward skin was developed, it would go through Hi-Rez for approval, make sure the quality is at the level it should be, make sure it's appropriate, stuff like that, and then it's released, and that would be a really cool aspect. I don't know that we'll ever see that, but it adds for that other revenue stream like we see with some other games out there that do a lot of that from the community. So that'd be cool.
Definitely. So there's a lot of content added. There's new ward skins. You got the brain in the jar, which I found to be the best thing in the world because of what I'm going to school for. But there's also a jack-o'-lantern. It's an animated icon though, so when in the loading screen you get this this thing and it does stuff like flicker and be a jack-o'-lantern. But we've got updated cards, yada yada. But the things that I really want to talk about are the god changes the god balances. Especially because they seemed out of the blue. Whenever I was reading over the patch notes, people were like, "Did you see the Apollo nerf?" I was like, "Wait, why would you need to nerf Apollo? He's doing pretty well right now." So the first change that I'm obviously going to be talking about is Apollo. And this is what Hi-Rez has put in quotations. We wanted to maintain the escape artist style that Apollo has while reducing his crowd control to be more in line with other hunters. So what they changed 2 things on him. His number 2 ability, Serenade, It used to provide just like magical and physical protections after you've like stunned them and you're running away, right? It no longer provides magical protection, so whenever you're an Apollo going up against like a Freya AD carry or a Chronos AD carry,
Yeah.
like you can use your Serenade to get some distance between you and her, but they're still going to be doing the same amount of damage, unlike if you're going up against non-her. And the second change to him is the Moose, and that is his 3. It's his dash. It's his escape mainly. And it says it reduces knockback impulse from 300 to 175. So it feels like whenever I was using it in game, I didn't notice anything.
Correct.
I really didn't.
Agree.
Like,
I agree.
They kind of like shot forward a little bit, and it did seem a little bit shorter, but it was barely noticeable. Okay. At least to the casual eye, like there's like not much of a difference.
Do you guys what do you guys think about the Apollo change? Do you think it was necessary? Like from your, I think we have all different eyes here. We have, Dean Machine who is looking at it from the competitive perspective a little bit because you're constantly involved within that. Not to say you're a competitive player, but you're involved with that to the point where you're seeing the picks, you're seeing the bands, you're seeing the gameplay, probably more than any of us. And then, Smitten on the other side, playing PTSs, playing heavily throughout the week. What do you guys think?
I understand it, kinda. I get that they want to reduce his crowd control and they want to keep him in the whole, like, you gotta be focused on getting away aspect, but this is how I just don't know. I don't understand the whole like thinking behind it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think it's something to do with the fact that if you try to catch Apollo, it doesn't matter who you are, magical or physical, and he's taking one of your towers, he can pop his to start tanking it, and then you try and kill him. He either ults away, or with his protections, he still, is able to survive long enough to escape in another aspect. So it could make it more advantageous for who's ever going to stop him from split pushing to be a magical, because it doesn't matter if you use Serenade or not, I'm still going to be able to burst you down.
Yeah.
And so they might actually be able to get a kill on him and allowing the other hunter to continue pushing in another way or something like that. It allows tanks to get more damage on him, so having that magical tank will help increase just your all-around DPS on Apollo when you're just doing the duo lane style. Apollo can't just, pop Serenade and then run away, and then Sobek can still follow behind him and hit him with Sickening Strike, and it does a lot more damage than it should be, or what it normally does. So, it's a way to help that a little bit. That's about all I could really think of. Other than that, it's kind of out of left field.
I feel like this patch very much so is kind of like, we had the Warrior patch. This is very much like your Hunter patch per se, where, a lot of changes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she's excited back there. Your grandmother.
just ignore it. Just do what I do and just pretend that it doesn't
it's awesome.
happen.
It's awesome. I love it. Anyways, with Apollo, being pretty much in the top 2 hunters selected, looking at the competitive scene, it's either Apollo or Rom are kind of your no-brainers at this point. And I can see where this came from, because I know Hi-Rez tries to keep the balance where they don't want one god to be good at 2 things, especially like this, where crowd control and then also the escape artist part, where Apollo is the cookie cutter hunter that you need to steal a tower. You need to steal that tower, you throw Apollo on it. He has the attack speed, especially with his passive kicking in, and then he has the easy ability where he can push it to that last second, pop that ult, and then he's out of there. And, he's able to do that with the towers, especially the aspect of, Titan diving, backdooring and stuff like that. So I'm kind of glad they made this adjustment. I feel like it wasn't too extreme. I feel like there's a nice little happy medium there. So, excited to see where they go with Apollo, if they're pleased with this change or if they have to make any adjustments to it.
Mm. Yeah. The next change that is relevant is Freya. Freya's ultimate. Apparently people were complaining a lot about how they're just unable to escape Freya. Once Freya sticks to you, she's stuck to you. She has her banish to either to initiate or to keep you in a fight. She's got, her 2-1 combo with Fatalis and Fatalis. She's running at this, virtually the same speed that you are, just knocking your health down. And then if she didn't kill you after all that, she could just get up into her ultimate and then just chase you around a whole bunch more. So what they did with her ultimate is they reduced the radius, so like the area of effect of her ultimate by about 3 feet, and they reduced the range at which you can fire on people by about 10 feet. It's a noticeable difference. It's a noticeable difference, I think, but I didn't find it as anything limiting. Like, I don't think that Freya is no longer viable as an AD carry or as a jungler because of these nerfs. I think it was probably needed, especially since we're seeing her picked up more in different roles.
I did a little overlay video about it where I took both ultimates and like literally put them on top of each other, and just like looking at the screen, I mean, it's hardly noticeable. I mean, it actually even looks the same width, which I'm kind of worried if the width thing actually took, or if it's just literally the
Visual effects, maybe?
yeah, the visual effects of the fact that it's a little bit closer, so it looks a little bit bigger. But I think this is a big key to trying to keep her from shooting you at the back of your tower while not taking any tower aggro when she lands, things like that, where most hunters can jump or backflip or slide away in some aspect to get further away, and now it's going to make it a little bit harder for her to catch you at the very wisp's edge. So, I mean, if you slide and then pop a sprint to run away, you should make it away all right, and she can't just go into her ult and kill you in 3 hits because she can spam them out fast enough. You know, things like that. That's all I can really think about.
Do you think that Valkyrie's discretion was where Freya needed the adjustment to? Or do you think it came down to her first 3 abilities? Because, like, I'll say, like, Freya's a ton of fun to play. And once you get to that point where you have enough speed under your belt, like, it's, like, her snowball opportunity is huge. And Freya has to be one of the more, one of the gods that is the most fun in the game to play. I'll be honest, like, at least for me, and I don't know that I would have adjusted that. I probably maybe would have adjusted something with her first and second ability, to be honest. What do you guys think?
Maybe the reason why they nerfed her ultimate is because they were like, well, if you didn't die to the first, like, 30 seconds of this engagement, you probably deserved to live. So that's probably what happened there.
Yeah, but her 1 and her 2 is all she has. If you nerf that too much, then she's going to be garbage, and people won't play her at all. So you have to be super careful when you're touching her main damaging combo, and that's about it. So they'll see how this works out. If this changes anything drastically, they might reverse it or do something different. Maybe they'll take a little bit off of a different section. Maybe they'll just combine them all and be like, all right, we'll give her maybe 5 feet back on her ult, and we're going to shave off a little bit on her scaling.
Yeah, that could be an opportunity as well.
I don't know. Man, the hunters took, like, they really looked at, like, re-examined the hunters, I think, with this patch. I mean, we were talking about that earlier, but Rama also got changed. The damage that his ultimate does has been reduced, and that is noticeable.
Yeah.
I played him a lot this weekend, and I was like, the first game, I played him, I was like, we were doing really well, and then it was maybe, I don't know, around 4.5 minutes, I popped up into my ult, and I'm used to just being able to kill them with that first shot. Because if I've gotten down that low enough, all I gotta do is get up and then kill him with that one shot. But at the same amount of HP, like, it took the full 3 shots to finally, like, kill him off. Yeah. So, it was the base damage that was scaled down, as well as the power, or the physical power scaling. Pretty big. I don't know, Demon, did you play him at all this weekend?
I didn't play him on the PTS at all. I was playing mostly Boxer and the new skins and stuff. But I can see that as being quite irritating. But it's also one of those things where he gets up there and he gets to wait. I mean, he's under no threat. He's under no, damage. So he's got all the time. Well, the amount of time he's got up there to line up and aim the shots. So it seems kind of reasonable that he shouldn't be able to one-hit you, because then he can just look around for any other targets that may be on this half of the world to shoot. And so it seems a little bit better, because as a hunter, most hunters are, single target focused. Their job is to take down X guy and this guy, and then, proceed down the line, not kill everybody with 3 hits. And so,
yeah. Like, I think, I forget who it was in the community that, like, did the math for it, but, like, Rama's ultimate, just off of, like, the damage that you do at full max rank, does more than Loki's entire entire kit combined.
Wow. So it's, I mean,
his ultimate alone.
I like that they only made an adjustment of like 50 across the board there. They're not hitting it too hard, but just enough. I mean, I like the skill. I like that this ability does come down to and adds in a skill gap there. Especially when you get to like your third shot. That's definitely a lot harder to hit, to say the least. So I like that adjustment. Like, I'm glad it's not too bad there though. I'm talking about his ultimate. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. I can see where it's going.
Definitely. The last change, and this is the one I'm actually upset about it. There was a huge nerf to Sylvanas. So he went from a tank or a guardian that I could actually play support as to it depends upon the skill of the player behind the god.
So what you're saying is you don't want to play a god that's not OP?
Who does? Who wants to play regular gods?
Sylvanas was like
come on.
support on training wheels. Come on now, let's be honest. Anyone could play Sylvanas well, I feel like.
All you gotta do is hit 2.
You know what? There's some skill that because you gotta line it up and make sure that it gets everybody in the general vicinity. Everybody.
Gotta get everybody in there. If you don't get all the minions in there, then you lost.
Yeah.
But wait, maybe the big trick with him is, do you want to do it on the enemy minions, or do you want to do it on your minions? That is the deciding factor.
Yeah, okay, so they fixed one thing about him, which is exciting, and that was his auto attacks. Like, whenever I was playing support and I'd go up to auto attack a tower, like if I put the center of the circle in the tower, it was just like, no, that's not a place where you can deal damage. So you have to scoot it out just a little bit, and you have to just, I don't know, the lighting was just finicky. And so they fixed that so you can hit the tower just fine. They reduced the stun duration on his 1.
I think that had to be done though.
God.
It's so
Really?
good. Oh my word!
God, if you hit somebody with that 2 seconds,
If you
that's ridiculous.
I'll be honest with you. You can combo his kit so well, where you can go ahead, pull him in, pop your ultimate as he's up in the air, pop your second ability. Then by the time he hits the ground, pop your first ability and stun him in place for even longer. So you can make him so viable as a damage dealing god. This was so necessary, and just like Doom Machine said, the difference in that 0.75 I think is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, 2 seconds in Smite really is a long time. 2 seconds of CC is it feels like eternity. Alright, and then the huge nerf came to his wisps, or his heal. The healing was reduced by 20 at the max rank. That's huge. I don't know if it was that necessary. I don't know if it was necessary for it to be this huge I don't know. I'm jaded about it. I'm jaded. I like healers. I love healer supports. Please just let me have one, please. But yeah, the cooldown was also changed from a scaling cooldown to just a static 18 seconds across the board. I think that was definitely necessary. I think the scaling cooldown on it was a little ridiculous, but the 18 seconds, maybe if they just made it to 18 seconds and maybe they knocked off 10 damage at max rank, I would be a very happy girl.
The cooldown that was applied to it, I think, is the biggest one. From what I'm looking at. I mean, granted, the adjustment there, but when I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh my word, that cooldown, that's a huge deal, especially in a team fight aspect where, it's at 8. It used to be 18 and then to 14 before any cooldown reduction was considered. Now it's just 18 at all ranks. Of course, you have to factor in cooldown, but having that with even if you want cooldown boots, having that available every few seconds, to be honest with you, to just spam, not only has that healing aspect to it, but then also gives that damage aspect to it in a team fight. That's a huge deal. This is going to affect him a lot. As a Guardian player, I'm kind of upset about it because Sylvanas was, I feel a very easy god to play compared to some of the other Guardians, but I understand the necessity behind it because, let's be honest, when you're playing Sylvanas and you're doing as good as you are doing with him, something's got to change.
I mean, it's a lot like the Zhong Wei ult was.
Yes.
You are in an AoE, and they turned off the healing on Zhong Wei's ult because it was ridiculous.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was amazing, and people.
That was also a fun week in Smite.
Yeah. So I think there might come a time where that healing may disappear altogether, or if
Ooh.
not, it'll be so minor that it's just like he's a little bit just to not hear everybody complain. But currently he's as much a healer as he is a tank, and that's just he's filling two roles easily at the
Yes.
same time. He's being Ra and he's being Sobek.
Mm-hmm.
What's better? I mean, not only that, he's a better Sobek because he just pulls them to him. He doesn't
Yes.
even have to put himself in danger.
I'm trying to remember, did they make any adjustments to that pool at all? I'm trying to remember what we just went through here. They didn't.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering about that because I feel. Does anyone else feel like that's kind of awkward with his pool? Like
So slow.
it is, and that's what I think makes it awkward. And maybe it's because of the fact that we're so used to like Arachne's original kit and the pool on that. Do you think after these changes, maybe a little bit faster of a pull would be needed, or no? Do you think that would
No.
be no?
It's,
Okay.
It's such a safe pull. I mean, like I said, you don't have to get in any kind of danger. You can pull through minions.
Yes.
So-
which is nice.
The only thing I could see, if they made it faster, they would have to let minions be affected by it.
Okay.
Because the biggest problem with Sobek back in the day was he could charge prey through minions, and so there was nowhere that was safe. And this is still putting Sobek at an awkward spot where he could be in your minion wave, and now he's got minion aggro. Sylvanas, he's just like, if I can pull you through the minions, now you're in my minions. Yours are mad at me, but I can just back up a few more feet, and I'm cool. After I've stunned you, of course, assuming I didn't stun you to pull you over here, which that's his combo. I mean, you throw out
Yeah.
his number one, and if it roots you, you get pulled. If you don't get rooted, you don't get pulled. That's just the thing. So you just got to watch out and dodge that root, and if you do that, you should be fine. If you don't, then you ran in a straight line for too long.
I'm excited to see because I'm pretty sure Sylvanas will be available for competitive play at the wild card coming up here. I think that's enough time, if I'm not mistaken, Demon Machine. Does that sound
sure.
right? So that'll be excited to see how he's played, or even if he's played, but really how he's played, because a lot of people will play Sylvanas either like a hybrid type of deal with a lot of healing and some damage to him, or straight up guarding. So I'm eager to see what we see coming out of him, because there's been a lot of, I'll be honest, in like casuals, there's been a lot of creative play with him that I've seen. I've seen some people try to take him solo lane because of the sustainability and stuff like that. So that'll be something interesting to see, without a doubt. Anything else about this patch that we got here, Smitten?
No. Other than it was just a really, really frustrating weekend on the PTS server. It was.
Was it just? I'm trying to why was it frustrating?
It's not necessarily the patch that was annoying. It was just the people that were on the PTS. Like, I've never been focused so hard in my streaming
that
life.
is focus the streamer. Focus the streamer. That is always the worst.
It was fun.
I
It was
haven't
invigorating,
messed around with
challenging my Smite ability.
I haven't messed around with the PTS a lot in the past few months. Is the population numbers there with the PTS?
Population? No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you find it frustrating when you're playing
It depends
because
on
of
the patch.
the skill set? Okay, because I was gonna say
That's
are we? Okay.
It depends on the patch. If there's a new god, there's a lot of people on the PTS trying out the new god.
Okay.
If it's just like minor changes or like things like that, then the population's a little bit lower. But
Okay.
still.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. So,
I gauge it off my friends list. If I have, more than 50 friends on, it's a good patch, because I'm probably into the 3,000s. I think since they took away the how many friends you have total. I don't know, but when they took that away, I was at like 2K, so I figured I've maybe gotten 1,000 more since then.
I tried. When you could see the numbers, I used to try to purge mine at 700. Every time I hit 700, I was like, okay, time to purge. But yeah,
Mine makes my computer cry every time I load up the friends list. I hit it. It's just like, oh, there we go. They're your friends, maybe.
Okay. So I think that pretty much rounds it out for the patch. Is that correct, Smitten?
Yep.
Okay. So overall thoughts. What do you looking at this patch? What are your thoughts overall with it? As Smitten scrolls on her mouse hardcore. Oh my word! I know your mic picks up. Your mic picks up on that very
Are you serious?
Well. Oh my
Yes.
word! Yes.
Can you hear me breathing? Like, is it that sensitive?
No, just
Not
the.
breathing,
My bad.
but mouse wheeling. It sounds like you're grinding something for medicine.
Maybe I
Yeah,
am.
it does actually. Good point.
Maybe I'm Maybe I'm curing cancer while I'm sitting here doing the Smite update show. Gotcha. Patch should be interesting. I'm really I don't know. I'm mad about Sylvanas. Anyways, we'll see.
Oh, I know I'm going to play Sylvanas tomorrow until I have my mastery on him, so that way I don't have to worry about him for ranked.
That is a good
Because
point.
then after tomorrow, nobody's going to want to play him anymore because he's got nerfed to death. But
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he'll still be plenty fine. He's still got the healing. It's still going to be plenty fun. It'll be nice to see Rom knock down a peg or two because I'm getting really tired of Roms. Really tired of Roms.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I'm
Well,
really
Freya, not so much. I don't really care about her too much. I don't like her. I don't like going against her, and I hate it when she kills me. But it's Rom that I find quite irritating.
Yeah, I think
So
if it,
hopefully this will solve all that.
I
Go
think I think of any of the changes from this patch, I think I agree with you with Rom. Like, looking at it, Apollo, okay, necessity was there, but not a huge deal. Sylvanas, I understand it, to say the least. So I think Rom, without a doubt. I mean, Freya, I feel like if you have a good Freya, you're in trouble either way with Freya. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it'll be a really good patch. I'm excited about it. Has there been a date that you guys have heard that's been released publicly when it'll go live?
Thursday.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
normally.
Tuesday. If all goes well, Tuesday. So
Okay.
unless you see anything else, I haven't seen anything else stating the otherwise. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming Tuesday.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, guys, we have a few minutes here. We'll take a few questions from you guys. I will post the link in chat for that. And the credentials are in the document for both of you guys. So if you guys want to go ahead and send us your live questions, we'll take some of them right here, live on the stream here. It's s.fm/the-smiteupdate. So feel free to go ahead and post your questions over there now. We'll give it a minute or two until we have enough to kind of flow in here. And then we'll kind of, take a few, discuss them as a group, and go from there. So should be pretty exciting. Don't forget, next week, guys, we do have episode 70 coming up, which is pretty exciting, to say the least. 70 episodes is a big deal. Looking forward to 100. That'll be nuts. Have to try to figure out something fun to do with 100. Something with maybe we'll talk to Hi-Rez about doing something exciting with that.
Maybe we'll do cosplay.
Cosplay. Oh boy.
Yeah, we'll get you in
That'd
that,
be
in that
dangerous.
Apollo outfit.
Oh, I don't have the
Okay.
I don't have the abs to rock the Apollo outfit. Now, maybe that'll. You know what? I got
Spray
30.
paint them
I
on.
got 30 episodes. Maybe I'll make it happen. You know what I mean? That's like my goal.
Yeah, and F-Dot can be Chalk, and I'll be Loki.
Oh, I like the chalk on
something.
F-Dot. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he would make a good Chalk.
You could obviously be Noir.
That's right.
New what?
Look at you. Yeah, that would be very appropriate. Who would you be? Who would you be, Smitten?
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know. Sure, why not?
Nua, Aphrodite.
Just
You could. You know what? You could pull off Neath. You could pull off Neath too. Neath.
sound like her.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. All right, so let's see what type of questions we have here. I'll throw it over to D Machine. Why don't you find one that you like, and then after you read it, just hit the X next to it to delete it.
I guess this is kind of all of us. So,
Okay.
what are your thoughts on Hell? Like where she stands right now, and if she could use a buff, etc. She stands right now as a very, very snowbally god.
Oh yeah.
If she gets ahead, she's going to wreck your day. If she doesn't get ahead, she can still wreck your day by healing your team a ton, and then they kill you. But she's in just kind of an awkward place, I think. She's not very tanky, and unless she builds super tanky, and the same goes for her damage. So I mean, she's like a hybrid of healing and damage. So it just takes the right team to use her. Where competitive people regard, I don't think they're really going to pick her up much because it's a little too risky. Because she really has to be up in their face to do the damage or healing. And that's not what you want your healer to be. They'll preferably take an Aphrodite who can just, stay way in the back and, just keep throwing out those lovebirds, which do damage from quite a distance. So, I don't know if they're going to need to do much with her. It's just a matter of her becoming the flavor of the month again, and then everybody will pick her up.
I feel
Because
like
they tried her out and they found this works great, and then suddenly everybody plays her and nobody stops.
I feel like touching Hell.
hers-
Go ahead, Smitten. You can go first.
Hers, I love Hell. I love Hell. I've always loved Hell. Because she's a healer. I have a thing for healers. Honestly, everything else about her kit is fine except for the amount of time that it takes to switch from light stance to dark stance. Like, it just needs a little more of a buff. You know what I mean? Like, nothing too
Italian.
extreme. like instantly, but like it does need to be sped up just a little bit.
I feel like touching Hell is always a dangerous road to go down. We saw Hell, I think, had adjustments 6 patches in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Someone from Hi-Rez can verify that. But, like, Hell was at the point where she was being played mid time and time again, and
Just
9 out
wreck.
of 10 games was like snowballing like crazy and was super effective in, you know, her light stance with healing, very, very strong, but then like amazing in her dark stance to the point where she would melt you. And it got to the point where like you would be seeing 4-on-1s where Hell could stay alive when she was swapping between stances and with her kit. And so like Hi-Rez played that game of going back and forth with Hell because it was super hard to adjust her. I feel like she's in a really good spot right now. I don't know that I would change anything about her. I just feel like an item has to have an adjustment, or a player has to take Hell under their wing and shift the meta naturally with a Hell selection.
I mean, they gave her that rework too.
Mm-hmm.
But they gave her the new model update, and they gave her that passive because we were working. That passive actually came from like Dignitas and the guys of the previous Denial eSports. We were all at Hi-Rez for the Siege tournament, like a year and a half ago now. I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. Anyway, and so they were asking for our opinions on it. So we all got together and just discussing it. It was quite a bit of fun, and we gave them that little scale to where, because the biggest problem with Hell was the fact that she could get magical power, and she would heal a bajillion, and she would kill for a bajillion at the same time. I mean, it just took 2 seconds, or half a second for her to go from, I healed my entire team, to now I just did half everybody's health on your team. And that was
That's
a problem,
true.
and so that's why the slider thing came into effect was, well, you can either take away all their health and then switch to light stance and then do a little bit of healing, or vice versa. And so
Yeah.
I think that was the best change to her to make her more in line, but now it's just a matter of people really looking at her intricately, because gods with stance changes are super complex. I mean, you got basically 6-8 spells instead of 4.
That's true.
5 counting it all. You know, you should get my point. I guess it would be 6 spells. Anyway, but like Uller, Hell, those kind of gods tier are very complex gods where you'll see them resurge into the meta at times because somebody figures out an awesome way to use them, and then they're great, and then they just kind of go away because somebody figures out how to counter that.
Or they get nerfed.
Or they get nerfed. Yeah.
So
or the item gets nerfed.
I got super.
I'm speaking directly about the Mercury Heavy Hammer.
Yes, necessity.
So glad that's fixed.
So I got super distracted by someone apparently, and I don't know if it's accurate, looked up our win rates. Did you see that one? Someone posted one of the questions as our win rates, and apparently Smitten has the top win rates between all 3 of us.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it says 50. Now I don't know if these are accurate because I don't know where these are being pulled from, because I don't know.
Probably Tier Monster.
It says win rates, Smitten 55, OctanePro 52, and DM Machine 53. I'm not sure where they're pulling it from, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I know, look at you on top. Let me see you, Tier Monster.
Come at me, bro. Like
Come at
1v1
bro.
me.
That's right. Hey, don't make me play Ymir. Come on now.
Do the boof combo.
I know.
See?
50. I have a 57% win rate on Ymir, so I'll take it.
You guys play League much?
Not at
I mean,
all.
it's a question of what are they talking about? Are they talking
Exactly.
about League? Are they talking about regular Conquest? Regular what?
I'd be
Or is
interested
it
to
all
see.
of it together?
Yeah, I don't
Rates
know.
came from Elo stats.
Oh, I forgot about that site. Because if that's the case, like, I think I played like 4 ranked matches in the past like 6 months, to say the least. So that's interesting. Now I'm like all interested in this. Let's see here. Everybody go over and hammer their website.
Right?
Let's see. I know, right?
I use that site to look up my elo. I want to play
I
ranked.
left 31 games.
You're terrible. I have only 19.
What?
I only have 19, so I'm a better person.
I still win more than you, even though I leave more.
Yeah, where are they?
Oh,
I wonder.
6.
Oh
6.
man, you're like a good Samaritan.
you're a try hard. You're a try hard.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the 57% over here, unless they literally took your win to
I think they
losses
just took them
and just did the
math.
calculation. Okay, that might be it to say the least. And
I
that's
don't know,
only
I think that's just Conquest
That
regular.
is.
If they're if they're pulling from the generic API call, then I'm pretty sure it's just Conquest.
Yeah, that's
Regular
what it,
Conquest.
that's what it looks like. Can you pull
I mean-
that from the in-game stats? I wonder, like per game mode. I wonder.
I don't know if it says your win rate.
What is-
It probably
you know-
just says which percentage you play the most of.
Tier Monster had a huge overhaul on their site, like that, like is now like tackling into some of these stats some more. I'm literally going over. I know we're like sidetracked, but whatever. We can do it. I'm going over there now. I'm interested to see what that has. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it does have.
21 elo.
Yeah, look at you. Okay, so it does have like your overall, it looks like, with like matches and stuff like that, stats. So that's probably, yeah, overall, the numbers are different, to say the least. So like your overall is going to be quite different. So I think that's probably Tier Monster is going to have a little bit more accuracy.
Speaking of Tier Monster, I got my question from the Ask.fm. It says,
Okay.
which of you are doing Divine Intervention?
I will be. Will you be doing it? D Machine, are you doing it?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, they might
Hi.
inform me later that, hey, you're doing this.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yes, Smitten, maybe you and I will play against each other again, because last year...
Oh my god, I totally
Last year,
beat you
your
last year.
team was
Yeah,
so good. You ended up going against Lassus's team,
Then I
I think,
lost
right?
to Lass's team, like, the next game.
Yes,
Like,
I know. Your team,
we won 2 games, and then we
yeah.
lost to Lassus, because we were focusing Lassus, like, hardcore.
your team was definitely good. Like, we played your
Mm.
team, and I was like, I have to beat her. I have to beat her. And then we played you, and you had like
And I
a
was like-
stacked team, and I was like, we're not beating her. It's okay.
Or maybe I'm just good. Why is it so hard and difficult for you
I
to
think you
accept?
actually did play really good in our game, though. Like, I think you dominated.
I
I
was
think
on
you played
Apollo
as Al
first,
Quang
yeah.
as well. So you did like really, really well,
Mhm.
which is pretty cool. So that's a good
Um,
question.
What was I gonna say? Oh my god, there's something right there. Where'd he go?
You talking about questions? Yeah, let's look for some more questions here. We have some time right now. Apparently,
Any idea where Tier's going to get buffed and Geb's going to be nerfed and why? I haven't heard nothing about this. Have you?
I know Dan Brandon's been yelling for a Geb nerf for the longest time. Geb is disgusting, and I think will be disgusting. But as for like a tier, I mean, he took quite a hit some time back, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Does everyone need to be like top tier gods? No. You know what I mean? Like, not every god is going to be, you know. So, okay. Smitten, apparently I'm being seedy towards you.
Are you?
Yes.
What does that even mean?
I actually
wondering.
just had to Google that because I was like, oh, if like I'm being like disrespectful or something, and
What does seedy
so
mean?
seeding first definition, sordid and disreputable, and I wanted to be like,
Oh, you're marginalizing me because I'm a woman. I see.
and I wanted to be like, I don't think I've ever done that to you. And then it goes off, if you read into some of them, it's like sleazy. And I'm like, I am the farthest person to be sleazy towards a woman. Like, I'm sorry.
Somebody gave me a really good description of you once, and it says that dad that's trying to be cool, and that is so you.
No,
It
this
is
kid-
beautiful.
I am not the only dad on this show, so I don't want to hear it. All right? I don't want to hear it. That's right. There's two dads on the show. He has more than... You have 2 kids or 3 kids?
I have
3. Oh my god. God save you.
They're inside fighting right now. I can hear them.
My word. 1 is enough for
It's-
me. I don't know how you could do 3.
I actually realized that the very awkward time's going to come up soon. My 2 older boys they're going to be 11 and 8 this year.
Uh-oh.
They got into a fist fight earlier today because one accidentally smacked the other. It's gonna start getting really bad because like they're getting big enough that I'm going to have to like actually wrestle them. Before it was just like, you know, you can grab the back of the shirts and pick them both up and be
Yeah.
like, stop now, guys, it's time not to fight. Now it's like, oh my god, back up.
That's right. I do not have to deal with that quite yet. That's a good. That'll be fun though. That'll be fun at the same time when they're that age. So that'll be cool.
Yeah,
let's
but
see
they
here.
play games very well, so
Yeah,
that's not
I can't wait till that age. Like my son's almost 2 years old, so he's not playing video games yet. Granted, he knows how to use a smartphone better than most people, but still. So we'll have to see. All right, so let's try another one here. Let's see what we can do with our questions. Okay, here's a go. What do we think about the new treasure chest and kind of how they're overhauling them and making those changes? So what do you guys think about them?
What?
The treasure chest. What do you think about the treasure chest and the changes that they're kind of altering with them? With one's going to come to an end, and you know there's another one coming out, stuff like that. No opinions.
I like it and I don't like it. I mean, I like the fact that the Halloween treasure chest, you can pretty much get all the content for 400 gems, and there's, 8 things, so whatever that equals, 2,400 gems. But I know that there's a very large uproar on Reddit about, we just want the Thanatos skin. We just want this skin. Can we not just have them, please? I would love to just spend my gems on the Thanatos skin and not have to play the dice roll of chess.
The gambling game.
Yeah.
They're training us all to be gambling addicts.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunately how you make some money, too, because, I mean, it's... People like the thrill of rolling things for money.
No. It's a conspiracy. The Illuminati are behind all of it. Clearly.
I can do money and math. 3,200 gems, excuse me.
They are.
I can do money.
I can do
math.
money.
That's adorable.
So they're those of you guys not familiar. I'm actually kind of happy about this. They're making some adjustments to the terminology they use with the treasure chest. They have exclusive items, limited items, and then so if you look exclusive items, these items will never be available for direct purchase. And I think this is what, as DM Machine was saying, people getting up in an uproar about it. I'm kind of glad about that. Like, I don't want to see the Guan Yu skin available for purchase, or like the Artemis skin available for purchase. I was the guy that was in an uproar that they even offered them to people in the treasure chest, because that even took away from a whole nother level of being exclusive. Like, oh, it's exclusive to the Smite events. That's what we all
What am I
thought.
supposed to do with all these?
I know, right? That's what we thought they were exclusive to those events. But in reality, we found out, they're not anymore. You can get them in a treasure chest. And so people are in an uproar that you can't just go out and buy that stuff. I'm okay with it. Like, I like, that aspect in the game. I like that, well, hey, if I go to these events, I can have things other people can't. I'm okay with that.
Part of the whole allure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, wow, like, if they listed, like, like the people that think of back before they did the treasure chest, and if you had an Artemis skin, like, I know when you jumped into game, people would comment and be like, wow, nice skin. Like, you got those compliments because those skins were so rare. And now, like, the treasure chest has allowed them to become a little more common, not super common, but a little bit more common. So I'm okay with Hi-Rez staying, things being exclusive. Then limited items these items are only available for a limited time, after which they will never again be offered in game. This is where I want to see the convention skins go. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll go back to where they were, unfortunately. So we'll have to see, but I'm eager to see, what we end up with that's limited. Is there anything off the top of your heads that's limited, like that was one and done type of deal? Right? Oh, yeah, that's right.
TSM Apollo.
Okay. That's true.
Those
That's
are
true.
Two ones that I think they're gone and they're not coming back.
Okay. Makes sense. All right.
I know Poolside. How's that?
Yeah. Let's take a few more questions, then we'll round things out for the night. What do we got? Pick one.
What?
You go for it, lady.
But don't be seedy. Don't be seedy, though. We can't have you being seedy.
Speaking of being seedy, I'm still confused on like the context of that word. Anyways, what is your favorite thing about Smite? Pick one thing.
Okay.
My favorite part about Smite is the whole everybody starts off in the beginning of the match with no advantage. I love that.
Look at that excitement on camera.
I played World of Warcraft for 8 years, and so every game you got into, your ability to actually do well in that game depended a lot upon your gear, not your positioning or your cooldowns or anything like that. It had everything to do with your gear. I like in Smite how you start a game and everybody's on the same level. Everybody's exactly the same. There's no advantages, no disadvantages of like gear or anything like that. It's just pure skill.
Yeah, that's it's something interesting that I talk with a lot to like friends of mine that play video games, and understanding that aspect. I used to play a lot of PvP in World of Warcraft. I've raided for years, and then I decided, you know what, I just can't keep up with like trying to be the best with raiding and the gear and stuff. So let's do PvP. But even in the PvP aspect of World of Warcraft, it really came down to gear first and then skill second, I felt like. And then I got into StarCraft, and StarCraft was like, there was no gear. So it was straight up skill. And I like that, like when I went into a game against DM Machine, for example, it came down to both of us in the length of time we played the game. learning our experience and our skill and sharpening that. And so I really like that. That's a really good point, and like that's one thing that sets this apart. A buddy of mine is huge into League of Legends and stuff like that, and he was like, "Why doesn't Smite have runes? Like then you could do X, Y, Z." And I was like, there was talk about this a tiny bit, and I was one of those people that was enraged about
Super
it. Like,
against it.
hey, I've been playing since like alpha. Does that mean that like I should have all these runes and have a huge advantage?
I should have an advantage from the very beginning for no other reason other than I've been playing this longer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
I
called
like that it's-
offerings and
Yes.
idols.
Yeah.
I think idols and offerings, and
Yeah.
I mean they put that up as maybe we're thinking about putting this in there, and the outroar was just like no, 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 and they're like, hey, we're gone, done. We won't bring it back up. Sorry, we asked.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy that like the community was in an uproar about it. It was like, all right, not even gonna touch it type of deal. And I like that. Like I like that factor about this, that it all comes down to skill, and it doesn't come down to the length of time or the gear that you've earned. And it's when explaining that to people, it's interesting because there's a Diablo 3 friend I know that plays Diablo 3 heavily, and I explained it to him. He's like, I could never play that game, and I'm like, why? And he's like, because I want to be rewarded for the amount of time I put into the game. I want my gear, like I want that to show type of deal. And I'm like, well, you are kind of rewarded by your skill, I guess, as it's sharpened over time. But he's very, I don't want to say old school in that manner, but it's just not something that he could do. So I understand Smite's not for everybody, but that's a good one, Smite, and that's a really good one. What about you, DM Machine? What aspect of Smite?
I love it. Just the whole perspective of the game, the third person, because I liked League. I mean, I liked Dota back in the day when it was, first came out, etc., and played that a good bit, then just kind of like stopped because it wasn't overly competitive when I started, and then League kind of brought me back in. I was like, yeah, this is pretty fun, but I didn't really like the top-down perspective, and because I was like, if I want to do that, I'll just go play StarCraft because I like StarCraft more. And then I started playing Super Monday Night Combat, which was the first-person shooter MOBA, and that unfortunately flopped in a glorious way. And then I saw Smite, and I was like, oh, it's like the best of both worlds. Because the first-person shooter one that was Super Monday Night Combat was so heavily reliant on your like first-person shooter skills. If you weren't like fantastic at first-person shooters, you were going to just get killed because it doesn't matter who you really have; they can just outbox you, so to speak. And that's not so well. Versus in Smite, it's like the perfect blend of the two. You can outbox somebody if you're the same kind of character, but not just because you're a better boxer, period. And so it's just the best blend of both, and I love it so much. I've been playing it for 2.5 years or however long it's been out, and it's been every day at least 1, 2, 3 games.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, I think for me, that's your grandmother. She's talking. She's got a lot to say back there. All right.
That's
She's got a
my
lot.
cousin, actually.
Oh man, you got the whole family over. I think for me, part of the aspect that I enjoy the most about Smite, and some people have different experiences, but I think the three of us come from a different angle, is the community aspect of Smite, where there very much seems to be this very intimate part of the community within Smite. And just all three of us have been playing Smite since alpha or early beta and seen it grow. And I feel like the game has matured in a way that's very non-traditional. And I think part of that is in part where Hi-Rez has been so transparent and integrated into the community. They don't have this huge disconnect. So they have almost fostered the community and molded the community in a way that, of course, not only benefits them, but as the community perspective of it, that transparency, I think, has allowed for, the community to grow in a direction that, to me, is huge and is much different, much more comforting. Especially part of it, too, like, when something's not right in the game, the community can speak up about it. And Hi-Rez is like, if it's a huge problem, next patch is making an alteration to that. Or if people don't like something that was implemented or the direction something is going, people vocalize that, and within a patch or two, it's changed. So I think it's a huge deal. The community integration and kind of intertwined aspect with Hi-Rez, I think, is huge. So that's my favorite part of Smite.
Yeah, it's the fact that they show that they're willing to listen lets the community know that, all of our Reddit posts will not go in vain. And also, I mean, it does kind of turn a small other problem, which is now everybody kind of complains a lot about most things, but thankfully the community itself seems to self-regulate where not every post that's complaining about something gets upvoted on Reddit.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just, it's good ones that will get the attention, and the rest of them will just shut up and go away, please. We've talked about this several thousand million times. Leave it alone. We realize you're new here. Just realize we've already discussed that Jesus is not going to be in the game. Let it go.
Oh my god, I'm so tired of that question. When
It's
do you think Jesus will be added to Smite? I'm like, never.
Yeah.
It's never
Just
gonna
don't.
be a thing.
yeah, it's
Jokes have been made. It's all been happened. It's all happened within the first 3 weeks of the game being out. That's all that's necessary. Thank you.
It's interesting because I remember at a time where like witch hunts were like a big deal in the community, where like witch hunts were occurring and it was like terrible. And now I feel like the community is a majority of the community is positive enough that like when a witch hunt starts, it's like smothered like very quickly, where it's not top on Reddit for multiple days and like which I don't even remember the last like huge witch hunt that occurred, but I just feel like there was like a several week period where
There was like 2 months.
was it?
There was like
Okay.
2 months worth the witch hunting. It was rough.
What was
Yeah.
the last big witch hunt you could remember?
I'm
I
trying to.
think it was Squiddish. I think maybe I don't know. I don't remember. It's like irrelevant, really.
The last one, like one of the ones I remember during that week was like there was like this huge witch hunt regarding like DM Brandon, and like the hate like poured out from all over the place, which was like completely unnecessary. Like Reddit posts being made, and it wasn't like anything sparked it. It was just trolls. Like not everybody has to like the guy. What do you
I
got?
think I remember that now.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna forget most of those anyway.
they're like in one ear out the other. It's like, oh, another one.
Can't you tell? I mean, I can't even remember what the tiebreaker game was earlier today. I barely remember what my name is.
Hence
Come on.
why, for the longest time, and Reddit has gotten a lot better, but for the longest time, Reddit was viewed as like the cesspool of the Smite community, and it's gotten better. It's definitely gotten better, thankfully, because like, I do recall that without a doubt.
I think the more active moderation's helping too,
Yes,
because
yeah.
there was a transitional period between the old moderators, the people who originally founded it, and the new caretakers of it. And so there was like this time where the old ones weren't active anymore, and they didn't have any new moderators, and it was just like rampant, and anything that got upvoted went places.
Yeah.
And so now they're much more stringent with what goes on.
It's interesting because as a community, we've kind of kept this positive, and I keep using the word intimate and not in a sexualized manner. Like I saw chat going off on it, but the direction we're going, with our size, like last numbers I saw was like 4 million accounts or whatever, and I feel like we're still keeping that small size community even as we're expanding and growing, which I think is really cool.
Small town feel, big city.
Yeah, exactly. What other questions we got today? People were asking about your friend. What happened to Demon's friend, Revel? What's his name?
Oh, Rebel?
Yeah.
He's doing what Rebel does. I don't know. Him and I have this. We were best friends in high school. Then we lived together in our first apartment.
Okay.
Him, me, my wife, and one of our other friends. And then I couldn't stand living with him because he's a slob.
Oh, one of
And
those.
He moved away. He moved to New Orleans. We didn't talk for about 4 or 5 years, and then he moved back into the state or into Columbia, and we hung out again. All that stuff. We just kind of go on these like up and down random hiatuses. It just seems to, for no apparent reason, he just goes off. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go do something else now. Yeah, bye. See you later.
That's
Catch up in a couple of years.
that could be a common friendship, to say the least. It's not like anything like huge and negative there.
Good. I mean, if he ever needs anything or I ever need anything serious, we can always call each other and they'll be there for each other. But usually it's just nothing's going on, so we're just doing things because he doesn't have any kids, so that's one of the big
That's right.
awkward moments.
He's one of those people, right? Right, Deep
Those
Machine?
guys.
He's one of those guys that doesn't have kids.
Yes.
Jeez.
Although soon it'll be, hopefully in a couple more years. Yeah, hey, you want to come over and play whatever game we're playing because we're having a LAN party at my house. 'Cause why play anywhere else? We already have 6 computers up.
That's right. There you go. Let's see. Why don't we take like 2 more questions, 2 or 3 more, whatever, and then we'll round it out. This is an interesting one, and I'm interested. How close do you think any of you are playing Smite competitively? So, Smitten, we're gonna start with you. I have to laugh about it.
No. There's I talked about this a couple times before on the show. There's a decision that you make whenever you become a YouTuber or streamer. You decide whether you're going to be a professional at the game that you're playing, or you're going to be an entertainer. And I chose entertainer a long time ago.
Yeah, it also is that huge time commitment type of thing. Like, if you watch some of these competitive players that do stream, not everyone does, but do stream, like example like Lassus, Zapman, Barracuda. I mean, they're streaming like 12 hours a day, and it's a full-time job for these people. And then outside of that, there's other commitments. I mean, like for myself, I can admit, like with having a family, having a kid, having a home, having a mortgage, it's not going to happen. And playing competitively is a gamble. If you don't go to regionals or you don't win big, like regionals and the world championship is like a salary that pays for your entire year. If you don't hit that, all of a sudden, like, you're not paying the mortgage, you're not paying for food for your family. Like, so for me, like, as Smitten said, like, you make a decision. It's strictly entertainment, like not even touching competitive at all. So just my
Like
thoughts.
you can improve, like you can do well at the game you play. It's just that's not your focus, is to perform well.
Yeah.
In the game, your focus is to be an entertainer, to involve your chat and to make them feel like part of the show.
Yep, exactly. Any last comments on that one?
Just I waffle back and forth. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I want to go pro, and I'm like, no, I won't. I don't have the map awareness for it, for starters. But I mean, amongst that, it's where if you were to take a scale and make a scale of what the casual player is and then what a competitive player is, the graph would change somewhere, because it's like, I'm a top ranked, ranked player. This is great. I'm fantastic at the game. I should totally be on a pro team. And then you get into a pro team, and it's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different play style, because it's working as a unit of 5 people, not just, I'm in a ranked game, I'm having to be friends with these guys for the next 20 minutes, and then we're going to go off and do different games. And, so you're looking out for yourself and then for your team kind of thing. You want to make sure that you win the game. You try to work with the guys as best you can. If you don't get along with them, well, next game will do better.
Yeah.
And so it's as much a personality matchup as it is a skill matchup, because if the guys can't get along, it doesn't matter how good you are. They can't play for anything, because everybody's trying to pull in different directions.
That's very true. Yeah, there's
so
true.
many different cogs that go into the wheel of a professional team, that it's not just, am I good enough to play competitively? There's plenty of other things that go into it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and round things off tonight. We're doing pretty good right now for time wise. So before we go ahead and go, I want to go around the board here and just kind of allow Smitten and Demon Machine to kind of give their social media information. If you guys want to follow them more, check out more of their individual content. So Demon Machine, where can people check you out if they want to check out more of your content?
Twitch.tv/Demon Machine, YouTube.com/Demon Machine, anything.com/Demon Machine. I think there's a trend. Speaking there. Thus, my lovely spelling of my name comes into true fruition. Fruition? I can't pronounce that. But that's pretty much it. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube are the main places I'm at. So you can also type !Demon Machine at any point in Smite game chat and have that happen.
Excellent. And Smitten, what about you?
Mine's a little more complicated, probably because I'm a female. Just saying. So first things first, youtube.com/GameFirstGaming, twitch.tv/Smitten, twitter.com/SmittenGFG, and facebook.com/GameFirstGaming. I'll post those links in chat for you. Make it easy.
There you go. Excellent. Well, first off, guys, I want to let you guys know you guys can watch the video VOD of this show at youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate. So go over there, check that out, subscribe, and you can check out the full VOD if you didn't get a chance to see it. You can also see all 68 episodes over there as well. We started out with Dry Bear on the show as another host, and then we moved to a gentleman named Risty, and then we had F. Now we have F. and Smitten, so you can actually go watch the whole progression of the show over there. That's youtube.com/TheSmiteUpdate. And then for myself, you could check out all of my content on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. OctanePro, SCII. All this, guys, we'll go ahead and put in the VOD of this. That'll be on YouTube if you guys want to check it out. And then last reminder, check it out on iTunes. This show is available on iTunes, the audio only version. You can also check out the MP3 as well. Just look it up, the Smite Update. It's available there. And go ahead and round things out. Special thanks to Hi-Rez Studios for allowing us to host the Smite Update show on their channel, twitch.tv/SmiteGame every week. If you guys are interested in checking out the show next week with myself, F. and Smitten, you can come back here on Twitch on Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And for myself, The Machine, and Smitten, thank you guys very much for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.